What's going on? This your boy MZ, aka Musically Zone Talks Boxing. This episode comes to you by the way of HW Weeks Handcrafted Candles. Their motto is relax and enjoy. Also by the Block family, which started off on Marlowe's Corner. We just keeping it going. Also, the Track Titans, where we get our music from. And we got plaque associations procured by my boy, the Kane, who got us some smooth music that we like to put in the background as of late. Giving a shout out to Champ Ross for those who think they can pick football games, boxing. I'm sorry, not football, boxing, because he has a fantasy boxing league with longevity. He's been around for more than 2 years, and the man is doing his thing. Get that out of there. He's doing his thing. So, if you feel like you can pick boxing, knockouts or by rounds, go on over to Champ Ross's Fantasy Boxing League and give it a shot. He got cash prizes, first, second, and third place. You feel like you can get in? Get in. You can find him on Facebook, and he has a channel right here on YouTube. So go check him out. We're going to get started with the smooth sounds of Microphone Fiend, 1977 rendition by Rakim, the Soul Wiz.
I'm melting microphones instead of cones of ice cream. I get a craving like I fiend for nicotine, but I don't need a cigarette, know what I mean. Soon as the bass kicks, I need a fix. Give me a stage and a mic and a mix. You see a part of me that you never see when I'm feeling for a microphone. I'm the microphone. I'm the mic. I'm the mic. I'm the microphone. It's a must that I must any mic you hand to me. It's inherited, it runs in the family. I broke the mind that broke the bull's back. If that don't slow them up, I carry a full pack. Soon as the bass kicks, I need a fix. Give me a stage and a mic and a mix. You see a part of me that you never see when I'm feeling for a microphone. I'm the microphone fiend. I'm the mic. I'm the mic. I'm the microphone fiend. More than double, you're trying to move away, but you can't. You're broke. More than cracked up, you should have backed up. For those that act up, need to be more than smacked up. Any entertainer, I got a torture chamber 101, and I'm the remainder. So close your eyes and hold your breath, and I'ma hit you with the blow of death. Before you go, you remember, you see the microphone fiend. I'm the mic. I'm the mic. I'm the microphone.
That's Smooth Sound. Rakim the Soul Wiz, 1977. That comes to you by way of Plaque Associations. So, got some questions that I got going on for myself tonight. First of all, what happened this weekend? Y'all come on through, put me in, put me down, let me know. Brandon Figueroa versus Nick Ball. I want to talk about that tonight because Brandon, oh my gosh, 12-round fight ended in a stoppage. And it seems like Brandon's corner, not Brandon's corner, but Nick Ball's corner got upset. Looked like they wanted to fight. What do you think about that? I want to talk about that. And I'm also hearing rumors, don't know how true it is, but one of my brothers put it inside of our Discord, and it reads, former welterweight champ Errol Spence Jr. has agreed to fight for the first time since July 2023. And he's supposed to be taking on Tim Tszyu on an unspecified date this summer. Whereby being an unspecified date means, to me, that it ain't quite done yet. Because if it was a specified date, we would still be a little bit worried because, like it says, we haven't seen Errol Spence since 2023 as far as fighting. And his last fight didn't turn out too good for him. Want to talk about that. I'm hearing a lot of rumblings about what went down in the Super Bowl. Congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks for taking victory away from the Patriots. And I don't think that they had to really take it away. From what I'm understanding, they pretty much had the game within their hands from start to finish. Another question that's raised, did Shakur's friendship with Bud lead to him getting stripped of his title? With him getting stripped of his title because he knows Bud and what Bud said and did when he was stripped, or what he said to the WBC about paying to be a champion. These are some questions that, have come to my attention that I wouldn't mind getting a chance to talk about. But it's going to be a smooth sailing thing for me tonight. Because once again, working hard, I missed out. But things will come around and I get settled down. But anyway, as I get myself together and run through what I need to run through, I'll be going back and forth, dropping a little track here and there from the Track Titans, as well as from Plaque Associations, because that's what we do. I'm going to hit you with a nice jumping sound from an artist by the name of Legit Born. And we'll be right back at you to start talking about what it is and how it is that we want to talk about and need to talk about. Y'all with me? Cool. So with that being said, let me go ahead and get us into the smooth sounds of a boy, Legit Born. This track is called You Can't, and we'll be right back.
I tell them you can't get like me, yo man, ain't shit like me, pack strong, hit like me, you broke, can't sit by me, gang, gang, beside me, we ride till we D.I.E., bang, bang, don't try me, that fire always be by me, you can't get like me, yo man, ain't shit like me, pack strong, hit like me, you broke, can't sit by me, gang, gang, beside me, we ride till we D.I.E., I'm gassed up, ignite me, my cash up, too lit, I be up, I'm a type of nigga that says shit straight. I never did hate, that's a bitch nigga trait. By any means, baby, I'ma get to the cake. I been a real nigga, so it ain't for debate. Beefing with me, get you hit with a stake. She left you for me, saying you the mistake. I can't be replaced. No, saving what hoes? Do you see me with a cake? I hustle from sun up to sundown. If a hater run up, he get walked down. We be up in that stick on who talk down. Reaching for my shit, 5-5. I be putting in work, I don't clock out. Talking dirty, you niggas get mopped out. Shout it like how I kick it like Kung Lao. Cause these niggas be chicken.
compound. I ain't wanna do it, but have to. I'm the shit like I live in the bathroom. Pull up, eat it, and dip. She fast food. Girl, let me show you what this cash do. I'm going nuts like the cashews. My name in they mouth with a bad move. Not a brokey, I go with a cash move. I'ma set this shit off if I have to. Hey. Niggas ain't built like me, Bionicles, but you self-made. It's ironic though, you original, but you be copying. I'm by my coins, I got that sonic flow. Bruce Lee, Roy, bitch, I got the glow. Probably run a ticket up at Papa Do's. Call me Young Atomic, cause I'm about to blow, nigga. Pause, no homo, no homo.
Okay, so I'm hearing that Earl Spence is supposed to be coming back against Tim Zoo. How do you feel about that, and what do you think is going to happen in that fight? Now, fact is, we haven't seen Earl in a long time. Actually, we haven't seen Earl Spence since the groundhog seen his shadow. And Tim Zoo, if I can remember correctly, the last time we seen him in the ring, he was being stopped by Fundora. Literally stopped, not with an elbow cut from like the first fight, but actually getting stopped. We got Ernest Davis, aka Manny Draplin, aka Texas Timbo, aka Maestro, my favorite producer, Biggie, my brother. What's going on, man? Glad to see you to slid in. It's a little early. You know how we do things. We procure things. We get things going a little slow, as usual, as we wait for people to come in. The Super Bowl went down. I hear the Seattle Seahawks got a victory. Hearing a lot of complaints, not from regular people. I'm just hearing some complaints that MAGA didn't like the Super Bowl show. I got a chance to peep out the show, and I feel like Bad Bunny, and let me say this was the first time that I've pretty much paid attention to Bad Bunny, and it looked like he put together a good show. I liked the way he gave the visuals with his music and the way things went, because I saw a lot of things, me staying in San Antonio, Spanish culture and things like that. I believe they opened up in the sugarcane fields, and the little shops that you see on the sides, the little stands and things like that, the ices that they sell, all the different things that are mixed into American culture. I thought it was pretty good. But what I think don't matter. It's what everybody else thinks. And I'd like to know what you think. I also want to know, what's the game good? Because I had to get bits and pieces while I was at work. But I understand that the Seattle Seahawks pretty much had the game in hand from beginning to end. Like New England really couldn't get anything done. You let me know if that's correct or not. What I was speaking on is, I'm hearing that Earl Spence is supposed to be coming back against Tim Zoo. Like I said, we haven't seen Earl Spence, like one of the brothers that put into the Discord. We haven't seen that man since 2023. 2023. This is 2026, y'all. Depending on what month that they're supposedly going to pop up and have the fight, it'll be a solid 3 years. A solid 3-year layoff. Only thing I can say about them that's going to be even, as far as I'm concerned, is they both coming back from losses. Tim Zoo's coming back from getting stopped by Sebastian Fundora, the Tyrant Inferno, and Earl Spence will be making a comeback after being stopped by Terrence Bud Crawford. So I don't know what to say about that fight. First of all, they saying it's still an unspecified date for this summer, which means it ain't quite put on a foundation that people can get excited about it and say that it's going to take place. Now, I know a lot of people probably going to start talking and saying, oh, this is going to happen and that's going to happen. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know what the heck is going to happen. Last time we seen Earl, only thing we seen him doing was he kept trying to fight back, but he didn't look good. And that goes to the credit of Terrence Crawford by being that much better than him that night. And it's possible that he's just much better than him on any night that they fight. Some people were clamoring for when they moved up to 154, but it kind of almost seems like a little bit of the fight had been beat out of Earl. He could be retired. He could stay retired And by right, he can do that. You know, he became a unified champion at 147 pounds, and he did what he needed to do. And it just depends on how history looks at him and how the history books put him down. For those of you who were Earl Spence fans, then your memory will hold the good and the bad. However you decide to hold him and put him on your list of good to / great fighters. Terrence Bud Crawford now is retired, and he went out the door by giving the WBC a big middle finger by telling them, look, I ain't paying y'all the money that they were asking for, claiming they were supposed to get as far as him being a champion and the sanctioning fees for the WBC, which sparked a firestorm conversation between many different channels and pundits and people having their opinions on what they think should happen or shouldn't happen, trying to tear down Bud on certain instances. Well, I'm not one of those type of people. I'm gonna say, hey, I have given my opinion and said, when it comes down to it and you think about it, why are they paying the WBC and the IBF and the WBO and the WBA? And it comes down to sanctioning fees and things like that. I also said, well, if they paying all this money to these different organizations to be ranked, and the organizations are supposedly taking care of past fighters and helping them out, show us that. Show us that you're helping these guys from the past who are having financial woes. Some of them, we've seen some fighters look homeless, sick, needing help with medical things of such sort. And it don't seem like nobody's helping them. And the reason I say that, because when they end up on TV or in some interview and they're talking about what's not being done, then it makes you question all the money that's being paid to these organizations, what's really going on with it. Now, yeah, I see these nice big parties that they have when they come together and they put a certain number of fighters up in front of the people and give them awards and stuff like that. But with all these guys paying sanctioning fees, I'm sure, and I'm no genius, but I'm sure that there's a lot more money that's in the bank accounts that can be used to help these hurt fighters, these fighters that are in need of. You know what I'm saying? Because you got guys that are paying into the pot who we may never even see fight. We may never even hear their names. They might make the ranking somewhere down the list. But let's think about it. This is a sport that they're asking you to pay into. And yeah, you know, they're saying you pay into it, we'll rank you, and, you know, blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. It's been showed that when the organizations try to tell fighters, hey, this is a fight that's mandated and you supposed to fight this person. We've seen on more than one occasion where these fighters are like, man, I ain't trying to hear that. Canelo being the ring leader, when he straight said, I'm going to fight who I want to fight, when I want to fight, and how I want to fight. And there's nothing that the WBC or anybody else could do. Now, I remember when that took place, the WBC bowed down to Canelo and let him do what he wanted to, hold belts hostage for a long time, nothing being said. It actually took fans to start grumbling and griping about that fact before it seemed like they tried to do anything, which they still didn't do anything. And now I'm seeing a whole different kind of look the way things are handled. And it's sad that certain people get certain privileges and some don't. They all should be treated the same. If these are your fighters, or these are the fighters that you are ranking and you're holding high regards, then be real about it. Stand your ground. But like I said, these people are spending money. One, you're spending money to participate. If you don't pay a sanctioning fee, it's almost like, oh, if you're not sanctioned by us, you can't fight for our belt. You see what I'm saying? That sounds crazy. Basketball players don't pay to play basketball. Football players don't pay to play football. Hockey players don't pay to play hockey, and so forth. But in boxing, you damn near, if you want to be somebody, a star, held in high regard and put in front of the people, you got to pay to play. I don't know how that fits in the situation for you, but for me, it is kind of strange. Bouncing back to Earl Spence and Tim Tszyu, two guys that, like I said the last time we seen fight, took losses. Now, I haven't heard much about Tim Tszyu or anything like that, and I haven't seen anything about Earl Spence, so it's hard for me to say that I can get excited and overwhelmed and glad and jolly that these guys are getting ready to fight. If you're an Earl Spence fan or a Tim Tszyu fan, yeah, I can see you saying, oh, man, he's coming back. They're coming back, whichever side of the fence you're on. I guess the only thing you can say is who's going to do what to who. Will it be a knockout? Will it be a good fight? Will they look the same? All these questions come to hand. Last time we seen Tim Tszyu fight, he quit. His corner, if I remember, stopped the fight. Last time we seen Earl Spence, the referee stopped the fight. Not equivalently the same, because one side, the corner, people say, well, they saved this fighter. The other side, you can say the referee saved the fighter. Either way, they both got stopped. And that's not something that, one is quickly and ready to go home and talk about and be like, oh man, this is it. This is the great stuff that's going down. I don't see it. I don't see it at all. But when they come up with a date and say that the fight is going down and blah, blah, this, we'll be waiting to see, I'm sure, the boxing world will figure a way. We'll come around to say, hey, let's figure out who we going to ride with and why. That's my thoughts on it. Like I said, like the title said, what happened this weekend? Y'all come put me on. While we think about that and going with that, MZ going to hit you with another one while I sit back and enjoy my hot tea and just let the night go. Got a song called Moving Funny. Funny Moving. Coming to you from the Track Titans. Y'all sit back, like I said, put your feet up, grab you something to chill on, and we're going to do it like this.
Funny movers, moving funny. We got one for you. Hope you don't get mad. But if you do, keep it to yourself, because we will get you. But if this ain't pertaining to you, then don't blink. Funny, let's talk about it. Yo, when that nigga owe you money, but he can't pay yet, then you see him riding around in a brand new vet. He rolling funny. Let's talk about how you can afford to get gas for that motherfucker. Really? Or when you have a disagreement with your family or friend, but then they body language show they wasn't your family or friend. They move funny. Let's talk about it.
Co-worker bragging about the girl that he know, but when you finally get to meet her, she's the neighborhood. Whoa.
Funny. Let's talk about it.
Now I hate to tell you this, but she get around.
When shorty need a job, so you call someone you know, then that someone calls you back and says she's a no-show. That shit ain't funny. Let's talk about it. How you gonna burn them bridges when I try to hook you? How about when something happens in the house too easy to see, but when you ask what happened, it's don't know what I mean. Funny. Let's talk about it.
You're walking with your lady and you pass her the blunt. She go to hit it and drop it in the manhole.
Funny. Let's talk about it.
Damn, baby, I only hit that one time. You dropped
Will you confide in your boy because he's someone that you can trust, but in the middle of an argument, he throws you under the bus. He act funny. Let's talk about it. So you just gonna put my business out there because you big man, right? How about when family members coming around swearing they down, but they really watching Stitch and telling, running their mouth. They really funny. Let's talk about it.
What if your stomach hurting bad and you gotta break wind, and when you finally let it go, your friends walk right in?
Funny. Let's talk about it.
What is that funky ass smell?
When you take a shit at the friends because you're in the rush, but after you spray, you realize the toilet won't flush. That handle. Funny. Let's talk about it. Really? Man, where the plunge at?
When they have your phone number for a long, long while, but they go on social media and ask you to call, they know that.
Funny. Let's talk about it.
When you tell them they can go and grab something to eat, when they walk back in the room, they blowing your last sweet.
Funny.
Man,
Let's
I
talk
said
about
you
it.
could get something sweet, not blow my sweet.
When your bro take you to dinner and says it's his treat, but he can't find his wallet once he gets the receipt. That Negro. Funny. Let's talk about it. Yeah, nigga, now you better cash out me now.
When you're listening every day, they getting their feelings out. Then you realize it's you they really talking about. You really.
Funny. Let's talk about it.
She on the phone with a man, talking all sweet, and at the same time texting what time we gon' meet.
Funny. Let's talk
I
about it.
told you she was around the way, girl, but you ain't believe it.
When your shorty yelling at you, so you start yelling back. Now she get Paul in her feelings. Can't believe you did that. She feeling funny. Let's talk about it. Shit, you fought for equal rights, nigga. Equal fight.
They finally done something for you, bringing it up. But all the shit that you done done for them, you like, what the fuck?
Funny. Let's talk about it.
Now you walking down the stairs like you oh so cool, then you misstep and roll down the rest like ooh.
Funny. Let's talk about
That
it.
boy look like a slinky coming down the steps.
You and your daughter use your car cause she got somewhere to be, and you get in it the next day and that shit is on E. She think it's funny. Let's talk about it. I got one word for you from now on. Uber.
When I pass the plug, talking like you got that bag, then the plug call me and tell me that your boy left sad. That shit is
Funny. Let's talk about it.
Now your bae's all excited, she rolled the first weed, and you get ready to light it and the guts fall out.
Funny.
From now
Let's
on,
talk
I'ma
about
hold and roll and you just puff. Alright?
Yo, when you hanging with your boys and you smoke a little cess, and you go to work the next day and they got a random test. Funny. Let's talk about it. Now, how the hell they gonna give me a random test for the first
well, if
time?
you're acting like a bitch and you're moving like a bitch and you're looking like a bitch, then your ass a fucking bitch. That shit ain't.
Funny. Let's talk about it.
Oh, I got one. Check this out. What if I flip it out and do bop, the do rap, blip, dippity lap, stab, and do bop, do bop, dip? Is that thing?
Funny. Let's talk about it.
I think I'm crazy. Salute, Judge. Honorable one. What's going on, man? Glad to see you come through. One of the faces I wanted to see because I want to ask about the Super Bowl because, you know, like I said, what went down this weekend, y'all put me on. I also want to ask, you know, how you feel about the so-called, and I say so-called because they haven't put a date to it yet, the return of Earl Spence and Tim Tszyu. Now, I spoke earlier that they both coming back or supposedly coming back off losses. Neither one of them in their last fight performed well. Tim Tszyu was stopped by Fundora. Earl Spence was stopped by Terrence Bud Crawford. Or should I say Tim Tszyu's corner, or was it Tim Tszyu? I can't quite remember. Decided that the fight was over. Just didn't want to do it no more that night. Earl Spence was, well, we saw he was stopped. You know, the referee had to step in and put an end to the contest. Now, we haven't seen Earl Spence since 2023. Like I said, you know, we haven't seen him since the groundhog seen his shadow. Don't know what it's going to look like. They saying it's supposed to be it's supposed to be taking place this summer of 2026, but they haven't put a date. So that doesn't look like anything promising to me. Also in the building, Napoleon Armstrong. What's going on, my brother? Salute. Glad to see you making it through so we can have some conversations about what's going on. You know what I'm saying? I'm depending on you guys to help me get it together so I can understand what's happening. But yeah, I'm speaking on. I was talking about, you know, while you guys figure out, let me know what happened with the Super Bowl and what you think about Earl Spence return and Tim Zoo's return, which, in my opinion, I can't really get super excited about it. But one thing I want to touch on that caught my eye, Deontay Wilder, who's getting ready to face Derek Chisora, was on one of the shows across the pond, and he had some people say a meltdown, some people say he just crashed out, whatever you want to put it. But he and the interviewer, and I don't think the interviewer really, well, yeah, I have to give some blame, but give somebody the blame. I'm not going to say who, I'm just going to put it out there. Deontay Wilder said he didn't want to talk about Tyson Fury, which I can understand that. But the interviewer said, yeah, we're going to talk about it. You know, like this man just told you he didn't want to talk about it. He wants to talk about the fight that's coming up, which is he and Derek Chisora. And this man pushed the issue and started talking about, well, you know, you said Tyson Fury is a cheater and blah, blah, this and blah, blah, that. And I'm hearing different channels kind of like dumping on Wilder and saying, well, you spoke about Fury on other channels and it's fair game. Well, yeah, it could be fair game, but once a person say, look, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about and concentrate on the fight that's getting ready to take place with Derek Chisora. Is he the war horse, war machine? This fight. Now, what I did find kind of funny is while Wilder was snapping, yeah, dude kept asking about Fury, Derek Baby. It was as if Wilder said, you know, I don't want to talk about it. It was as if, no, you're going to talk about it because that's what it is. You know, he pushed the issue. And some people are like, well, you know, you on his show, you're supposed to answer the questions. And like I said, they went to talking about Wilder being on other shows that he brought up Fury and whatnot. But one question is, well, when he went on those other shows and said what he said about Fury, was it a fight lined up for him and Derek Chisora, or was he just there doing the interview? There is a difference to me. If I'm here to talk to you about my next fight, which is getting ready to come up, by right, that's the fight we should be talking about. The opponent who's sitting right there across from Wilder. Derek Chisora was right there in the studio ready to talk. These guys were supposed to be promoting their fight. Like you said, they supposed to be promoting their fight. Exactly. So how is it that the first thing that you start trying to put out is the man said, for me, you know, I was disappointed in you. Who gives a damn how disappointed you were in Deontay Wilder and what he said about Tyson Fury? Now, some people also got upset and were saying some things about why should it be black and white? Well, you know, sometimes, a lot of times when it comes to boxing and other sports, it is like that. But Wilder made a point. I'm not going to harp on it too hard, but he said, why is it so hard to believe a black man and what he said? And you can believe what the other man said with no qualms about it. Whatever he said, it was okay. It's not like we haven't caught wind of Fury being dirty. We have. It's been plastered around and, you know, it's kind of been pushed up under the rug like as if it didn't exist. But for this, excuse me, for this fighting ex-champion to say that he was cheating and what have you, yes, some of the way it was put out, people made jokes about it and this and that. But I'm a firm believer that sometimes, and I have said this, sometimes the truth sounds crazier than fiction. Now, if he has a documentary that he says he's going to put out, then I'm waiting to see it come out and you can make your decision then. He also said if he was lying and he was messing up Fury's name and what have you, then Fury should sue him. You know, so a lot of different ways to look at it. But I'm wanting to say that they should have been talking about Derek Chisora and Deontay Wilder and not Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. Tyson Fury is supposed to be coming back. And if he's supposed to be coming back, talk to him when he comes back for his fight. And if you want to ask him about Deontay Wilder and he wants to answer, then let that be. But when you're standing there with the two fighters that's getting ready to go head to head and put these hands on each other, then that's what you should be talking about. He said, yeah, that dude said that the costume was too heavy. Wilder said he never said anything about the costume. If my memory serves me right, I remember it was a lot going on about that part being out, that the costume was too heavy, but I can't remember if I seen any clips where Wilder actually said that. So, you know, like I said, it's a lot to unpack when it comes down to it, especially since it's old. And I'm sure people will be going to dig and pull it up. But if they don't pull it up where he's saying it, then what's the purpose of it? But you're right, the internet did put it out there. But out of all that was going on, I did find something funny about the interview. And that is, if you were listening, Derek Chisora was in the background talking about, yeah, that's right. Yeah, it is about race. You know, it was almost like he was trolling the interviewer, because it sounded like he was taking side with Wilder, but then it sounded like he could have been trolling the whole bit. Then he jumped up and said, you know, when Wilder said, man, I'm out of here, you know, blah this, blah that. Chisora said he was out of there too. So maybe it wasn't a troll. Maybe Chisora was saying what he really felt, or agreeing with Wilder on that. You know, we supposed to be here talking about me and Wilder. That's who we supposed to be talking about. Who gives a damn about Tyson Fury at this moment in time when you got these two brothers standing, sitting on stage with you, and the first thing you start talking about is a guy that's not there, a guy that has no outcome on this fight at all. But, you know, it was his show. I guess he felt like he could ask whatever questions he wanted to ask. But it seems to me he was trying to force Wilder to talk about Fury. And salute to Wilder for not doing it. In so many ways, he did kind of go down the trail. You know, he was the biggest cheat in history and all that. The biggest cheat in boxing is what he said. But he kind of stood by his guns by saying, I ain't trying to talk about this. Why the hell you bringing it up? You know, he really snapped. And in my opinion, rightfully so. He, you know, I don't know if they talked about it beforehand that he didn't want to answer those questions. But while they were there and live, and he said that he didn't want to talk about it, I feel like the interviewer should have respected that fact and kept things going and let the show, which could have been a good show, be just that. I don't know how they do things over across the pond. I'm sure that our boy Yasser will let me know how this guy handles interviews with everybody else. But as far as I'm concerned, it should have been just a conversation, possibly a great conversation about those two fighters getting ready to butt heads in the upcoming fight. Simple and plain. That's the only way I can see it. That's the way I got it chalked up. I can't go any further into it than that, except salute to Wilder for standing on his square. You can't be mad at a person if they believe something full-heartedly in their heart and they feel like they were wronged. Who are anybody to say that man can't have those feelings? You know, it seemed like to me, you're going to sit there and try to embarrass this guy and say, oh, well, you said this about him and you said that about him. And it's not like none of this stuff is believable or possible that Fury could be guilty of. He can be guilty of a lot of things, you know. This is the guy who said a synthetic drug was in his system because he ate wild boar meat or uncircumcised boar meat. Y'all remember, you know, it was everywhere. Napoleon Armstrong said Fury's a known cheater. Exactly. But I guess it depends on who you are and who you ride with on what story you decide to carry. Now, you know, bad thing, you know, I don't know how you look at it, how some people look at it, but a lot of black people made fun of Wilder and put him on the chopping block and beat him up about what he said and how he said it. They want to make fun of the way he talked and all things like that. But, you know, here in America, y'all know how it is. Country people talk country. Country people use words kind of the wrong way. But when you're listening to them, you understand what it is that they're trying to say. I'm pretty sure if you've been wronged and you really feel you've been wrong, nobody's going to make you change your way of thinking about being wrong. The man shared the ring with Tyson Fury, not once, not twice, but 3 times. The first time they shared the ring, we saw, in my opinion, Tyson Fury get knocked out. The referee went on to a podcast and said he wanted to give Fury every chance he could to continue to fight, because that's what you do for champions. That's how you do it. You know, the man got dropped and knocked out, but you jumped down on your hands and knees and got in his face and started counting, and he was down for longer than 10 seconds, even though you can count slow or fast, however you want. But we saw that. We saw that take place. We went through a whole thing of Glovegate with Fury and Wilder. Depending on what you thought or how you feel about it, people chose sides. A lot of people that look like Wilder chose sides with the guy from across the pond. They literally was like, oh, Wilder just a sore loser, Wilder crazy, Wilder this, Wilder that. They didn't give him no chance or any weight to what he said or what he felt took place. It was just jokes about his uniform being too heavy. I remember that. It was jokes all over the place for that. They were making fun of him on every aspect of the game. Never really saying, let's try to dig into it and see what's really happening. Let's just let it play out. No, they pushed it under the rug, said that if you really feel like this when y'all fight again, it should be this. The first 2 fights were crazy. The third fight, I say, was probably the best fight, but Wilder, Fury, they gave some entertaining fights, whether it was some cheating or not. I'm not going to give way to one side or the other. In my opinion, y'all have heard me say plenty of times before, I feel like Fury cheated. The first fight, I feel like Fury was given the hand. First fight, he gets knocked out. And the only thing people remember is, oh, he set up like the Undertaker. He got up and started fighting back, and he won the fight. He pretty much was boxing Wilder the whole fight anyway. So, it was just one of those type of things. He say facts. We're hell on each other. We're hell on each other all the time. Everybody can stand together except us. We stand with the opposing side just because. And I don't know what the because is. I really don't. I'm baffled on that. I've been baffled on that for years, because this takes place in more than just boxing. This takes place on so many different stages in the world. Y'all remember Coco, I believe her name is Coco Gauff, the tennis player, when she played against the lady from Australia, I think. And, tennis, there are certain rules that, you have to be ready to start playing in a certain amount of time. This lady was dragging on. The referee knew she was dragging on and wasn't saying anything about it. She was calling the points late, which allowed the girl to take even more time to come up to start playing, which that's not what it's supposed to be. I think they got like a 25-second clock that they have to get the ball served. This girl was going over the time, and the official wasn't saying anything. It took, and yes, I'm going to say it took for Coco to have, I hope I'm saying the right young lady. It took for Coco to make a complaint, but before she even started complaining, the crowd was complaining. They were screaming out, time, and pointing at they wrists like they had watches on, steady saying, time. What is going on? And as soon as it was over with and they got to interviewing, what's the first thing that people start doing when they the ones that, perpetrating and doing the wrong? She started the waterworks. She started crying, saying the crowd wasn't treating her fair. And all I was doing was playing slow. But damn it, you got 25 seconds, just like the rest of the tennis world know you got 25 seconds. The official who's supposed to be keeping up with the score, when you score a point, bam, that score is supposed to be called out right then and there. It's not supposed to be a 5-second delay. It didn't take you 5 seconds to see that the ball was out. You know that. Call a point, get the clock moving, because the clock don't start until after she called the point. So these are different things that you see in sports that you have to wonder, you know what I'm saying, what be going on. But because the young lady Coco was like, why is it going on? They tried to frame it like, oh, she's playing too fast and this and that. No, I'm playing at the right pace. I'm playing it like I'm supposed to be playing. And you guys aren't actually enforcing the rules in this fight. It's not like we haven't, like, you know, it's just sickening. And I felt it was a bad taste for the man to jump on Wilder like he did and start trying, because like I said, it seems to me he tried to force Wilder to talk about Fury. And it really blew my mind when Wilder said, we ain't going to talk about that. And this man literally said, yes, we are. So I ain't going to talk about that. Yes, you are. So you just going to tell me what I'm going to talk about? I got to fight with Derek Chisora, but you going to tell me I'm going to talk about Tyson Fury? Come on, man. That's weaker than well water and stale than old bread. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, I can't say I'm offended by it, because so much stuff that has happened so much worse is so much more offensive. But it did make me say, damn, that's kind of messed up. One, this man is over there on your soil, and you're talking about it. And you're right. Dude did look a little shook when Wilder stood up, started going off a little harder. It was like, oh shit. Somebody, make sure you security. Make sure this man don't come over here and punch me with one of those right hands. But that's usually how it goes. If you're gonna call out something, you best damn be able to stand up against it. Don't start talking about, oh, he should have. Nobody want to hear that, because honestly, you shouldn't have brought that bullshit up. Period. The boxing world had pretty much moved on away from it. They had pretty much accepted whatever happened. You know what I'm saying? Every once in a while, if Wilder spoke on it, then it came up again. You know, we know Fury is a troll. Every once in a while, he got something that he has to say. But Wilder has showed me, honestly, he don't mess with Fury. When Fury, after the last fight, went over and tried to say something, you know, Wilder straight told him, I think it was after he got knocked out in the third fight, now, you know, get away from me in the corner. I ain't trying to hit. I don't accept what you're talking about. Because we know that, you know, in Wilder's heart, he's like, we know you a cheater. We know what you did to me in these fights. So as the girl from Wilder now say, fuck out of here. That's straight up, you know, and I ain't mad at him about it. I'm not. Yeah, like I said, once again, y'all know I'll say what I have to say about Fury. I am not a Fury fan, no way, shape, form, or fashion, because I've seen him get caught cheating. I've seen him in too many scandals, and the boxing world accepted it. My people and they people. Simple as that. But I'm not going to harp on that too much longer. But, you know, if y'all still want to bring it up, you know, I will read it out. But the facts is the facts. My boy Napoleon Armstrong said Wilder's never been the same. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what he and Derek Chisora does, because it'll give me a chance to say, you know what? I've said it before, Wilder, you know, you don't have nothing else to prove. You don't have to prove anything. But the man said he wants to be champion again. Why else is he doing it? Okay, if he wants to be champion again, I can't say don't go for it. Hell, go for it. Give it your all. Give it your all. You know, that's the best I can say. But honestly, in my heart and soul, I'm like, bro, you know, you made money, you become a millionaire, you don't have to get your head bashed in anymore. You got things set for your children, because when you were first talking and you came out, it was about you making a better life for your family. Well, let me look around and say, congratulations, bro. You did that. You have did that. You don't have to go out there and lay your life down for me and any other person to give us entertainment. There's a lot more people that are that are still out there doing it and entertaining. So there you go with that. You know what, Derek, baby, that's a good question. I don't know who is training Wilder. That's one of those things that's in the back of the head. I don't think I'm pretty sure it's not Malik Scott. Malik has moved on, you know, he even parlayed that coaching job that he had with Wilder into being on the talk show with Max Kellerman and ex-football player. So he's doing what he needs to do, you know, he keeping himself like that. So he can parlay himself into that. Whoever Wilder is training, I hope it's sticking and they can find a way to dig deep and get that fire back. You know, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to see if he has that fire back. The last couple of fights that I saw him in, I didn't see that fire. I didn't see that. It looked like he was slow to pull the trigger. It just didn't seem like the Wilder of old. That could be because of the 3 fights with Fury. That could have changed him, because a lot of people say that is it. And you're right. Derek Chisora may not be an easy fight. Derek Chisora has taken some losses, but he still seems to be always ready to come and fight. And people that tried to make comparisons, and right, Wilder need to be mean as hell again. Exactly. I kind of saw a spark of that, and that's just him going off at that interview, but I need to see it come back to him in the ring. I would love, let me change that. I don't just need to see it. I would love to see it come back to him in the ring. I would love to see him come out there with that hard, that Alabama hard. I don't give a damn. I'm coming out here to try to knock your head off your shoulders and keep it moving like that. That's the Wilder that needs to show back up. The ashwagandha, that Wilder, the pre that girl, I don't know, Telly Smith, the man showed this. He has heart, compassion. He tried to do something for somebody he was taken advantage of, and it looks like he was taking advantage of and more, not just in the ring, but outside the ring as well, which could put your mind in the wash machine, especially for a fighter. We need fighters to stay in that mentality of, I am a warrior, I'm a gladiator, and this is the life I live. If Wilder doesn't have that again, like I said, I'm not one to say, to be pushing forward and saying he should do this, he should do that. But once again, bro, you have accomplished much more than so many people that watch this sport that have their opinions about these fighters. You have accomplished what you said you set out to accomplish. You gotten the money that you needed to make sure your children can have good lives. If you guys aren't spending it off and wasting it, just wasting it. If you're making some good investments and putting things to the side, I'm not trying to count any body pockets, but we do know that the man became a millionaire, probably a multimillionaire. We don't know. I don't know, but I do know that the goal that was put out in front of us, I believe he's accomplished. And I salute him for that. But if you're going to keep fighting, bro, make sure that it's really what you want to do. Don't do it for us. Don't do it because people are clamoring to say, we want to see the Deontay Wilder of old. Don't do it because of that. Do it because the fire has restarted within you, and that's what you want to do. Yeah. If I'm wrong, somebody tell me, but that's my beliefs, and that's how I think about it. Straight up, no crap, no bull. Derek Baby, oh man, I'm sorry. I'm just reading the comment and putting you up there. Derek Baby, welcome to the show. I should have called that out. Man, this is like a rare sighting because you didn't back-to-back me this week. You know what I'm saying? Big bro say, I do not want to see him fight again. I understand that, big bro. And I do understand, because you and I have our conversations. I understand how you feel about it. And that's why I'm like, bro, if you're going to step into the ring, and this is for any fighter, if you're going to step back in the ring, let pleasing the crowd, pleasing the people that are watching, waiting for you to fail so they can talk about you. Forget worrying about them. Worry about you. And if this is what you want to do, because if you're doing it for the people, then that's just a bad reason. That's just a bad reason. It's got to be number one, you and your family first, and then everything else. And I'm starting to, when I hear certain fighters make that distinction, I'm starting to be a lot more on board with them because I feel it. I really do. It's you, your health that you putting on the line to entertain a whole bunch of people that are looking to see you get your head bashed in because they don't like you for whatever reason. Straight up. But I feel you, bro. I feel you saying you don't want to see him fight again because you feel like it's just not there anymore. Yeah, and I get it. I get it 100%. Now, I want to ask you guys, how do y'all feel since it's been brought up? I think it was on All the Smoke that they were saying that they were talking about Shakur Stevenson getting stripped because his association with Terrence Crawford and what Crawford did to the WBC as far as the sanctioning fees. I spoke a little bit about it earlier, but now I want to touch on it again. First of all, my boy said, yeah, I wouldn't want to see Wilder lose to Chisora. I don't know exactly who would win or who would lose. I know Chisora is not going to be an easy fight because I feel like every time he goes out there, he fights hard. And let us not forget, because some people tried to say that Wilder had got out of context and Chisora is more this and more that. Well, I remember Chisora turning over tables at interviews and talking crazy and doing all kind of stuff and just going hard. I mean, going ham. Nobody downplayed him or, brushed him to the side or anything like that for anything that he said or did, whatever. Wilder don't get that same blessing from certain people. But it is what it is. But I don't want to see him lose against Chisora either. I would like, if they do fight, I want to see the warrior in him come out. But I have said, y'all heard me on past shows now, I think that it might be time for him to just go ahead and chill. But this is his chance to prove me wrong. You know what I'm saying? He took a loss to Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker was hot. He took a loss to him. He just wouldn't let go on Parker. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I'm not torn for him doing it or whatever. Like I said, I'm going to sit back and say, hey, let's just see what unfolds and see how it breaks down and see what happens. Can he get a win? Can he look good doing it? Can he make people say, that's the Wilder that I remember? Or will they walk away saying, well, Wilder's done? Don't know. I'm not going to pack him in. I'm going to let him do his own packing when it comes down to it. But the Shakur Stevenson situation, getting stripped of his belt, I really haven't heard the reasoning for it. But in my opinion, I'm like, his belt wasn't even on the line. So why would they be asking for money from that fight that he had in a higher weight class where it had nothing to do with them? Y'all, you feel what I'm saying? It wasn't like their belt was on the line. They were like, you was fighting to protect the belt, sanctioning fees. I feel like the sanctioning fee thing is smoke and mirrors, because I haven't seen one time where they actually, they had these dinners and these awards and stuff like that. But if you really wanted to show something to me, show me that you actually helping these old fighters and these fighters that's beat up, and these fighters that had problems in their life, that are living paycheck to paycheck, if they even getting the paycheck, the ones that are sick that need help with doctor bills and hospital bills and so forth, some of them that are homeless. Show me that you helping these people get into homes. Show me that you helping these people get medical attention. Show me you helping these people on those type of ways. Don't just tell me. Because, Suleiman, he told us that's what they were doing, but I haven't seen it, and it wouldn't be a bad thing to say, ladies and gentlemen, the WBC has done this and done that, or the IBF has done this and done that. Show us, give us some receipts. Give us some receipts to all these fighters that are paying in. You just think about it. All these guys that are paying in, some of them, we are never going to know their names. We're never going to know their faces, but they paying in. So with that, Shakur Stevenson gets stripped, and we can think of different fighters that held belts and moved around. Canelo being the first one to come to mind, because he was the first one to really be outspoken about not doing what they told him to do. They don't promote fights. They don't. All they do is, we sanctioned this fight for this belt. You sanctioned it so you can get paid. You know what I'm saying? Some of the fights that we've seen come up that we like, why they put the belt up for this fight? So they can get paid. So they can get paid, fatten their pockets, live a little better, go out on expensive trips, have yachts and mansions and things like that. It's amazing. These guys make up new belts. You're right, and make up new belts. Just you go to sleep one day and wake up the next day and they got the Freedom Belt, the Black History Belt, the Super Bowl belt. Why on the planet Earth is a boxing organization making the belt for the Super Bowl? Help me understand that. And what fighter, if they fight for it, what fighter gonna have? I'm hoping it was something that it was for memorabilia. People, that boxing fans are just overzealous. Oh, I got this belt. Well, I can understand that. But I'm talking about these real belts and these real people that are putting their gloves on, going out there to entertain. A lot of these guys going out there to get themselves better lives, that are paying some of their purse to you. And once again, like I said, we some of these guys, we're not gonna see their faces. We're not gonna hear their names. If you're not a person that people gravitate to and be like, this dude is good, this dude is good, this dude is good, you're not gonna know him. And you're getting a chunk of everybody's money. And like I said, the world is not actually seeing what you're doing with it. You're supposed to be a boxing organization that helps boxers, but I'm not seeing what is it doing. He said that's what it looks like. They use the fees to supply their lifestyles, and there it is. There it is. Somebody, one of these fighters, all of these fighters, a group of these fighters should ask to see. Show us the books. I'm paying into it. I had a right to see where this money is going. We have the right to know. What are you doing with this money other than making sure your mansion has good upkeep, or your good cars have good upkeep, or these dinners and these vacations that you get to take? Just imagine you paying into something and guys get to go and do all this big stuff, and you still living somewhere that's crazy. Let's take Patley, for instance. Until he got a big check, this man had to help supply and help do things by being an electrician part-time in order to keep things going, having to go into your pockets to go train. Y'all want to impress me? Make a training facility for these fighters to be able to come and train, but they don't have to be paying for it. Since they already paying into the game anyway, they paying the box. You might as well give them somewhere where they can come. And I'm not talking about just one gym in one certain place. You should put it where they all can have access to where they are. Because I believe y'all are big enough to do that. Y'all got the money. You know what I'm saying? You got the money. You're going off of the grandeur and everything of things of the past of the first thing was says Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier and the great fighters from the past. They fought for these belts. Not all of them, but this is where these belts come from. And once upon a time, they weren't having to make payments like that. It came around, the only one I can say that actually makes sense where people can't make a complaint about is the Ring Magazine. The Ring Magazine say, hey, you the champ. You ain't got to send us no money to be the champ, but here's this belt to show that you are the champion of the world. That's one thing I can agree with. But if I'm paying you for you to say, oh, how much did he pay? 100,000? Okay, he could be the champ. You made up all these different belts, lower class champion, silver champion. Why? Because it's a way to get more fees. The more belts, the more fees. And it's just greed. It's just greed. A lot of these guys can barely get their rent and stuff paid because they trying to participate in a sport that is taking away a lot from them. And here's the thing. I know some people in the family through marriage and stuff like that they had family members that was in boxing that went through those type things. Nobody ever heard of them, but they were doing the payments faithfully. You don't have a showcase for them. you don't have, you get together. We're gonna have this big award ceremony, but the only people that you see at the award show are the ones that you know, the names that you know. You're not seeing people that you like, oh, who the hell is that? You're not seeing that. I think, in my opinion, it's a force. You guys are getting rich, fat cats living and not having to really do anything to earn the money. You're blessed with an organization that people recognize, and a lot of fans love the fact that this belt is for this person, this belt is for that person. But you want to be real to me, since you got all these belts and you're getting all these sanctioning fees from all of these fighters. All of these fighters. And I haven't seen Suleiman in the hospital room helping to look after nobody, going, y'all can build some houses for these fighters. And you can build some nice little cribs for these fighters and say, hey, this is for our fighters. These are for the fighters that are struggling, that need a place to live. You know what I'm saying? These people are working hard to become entertainment for the world, and you just sucking them dry. And when they blow up and they get big, so does your sanctioning fees. Your sanctioning fees blow up and get big right along with them. Canelo told y'all, when y'all tried to tell him who to fight, he told y'all he wasn't going to do nothing. You could take it or leave it. What did they do? They bowed down to Canelo and let him do what he wanted to do. When he said, I don't give a shit, take your belt. But they knew that if they took that belt, all the money that he was generating and the percent that they was getting would be gone. So what did they do? They bowed their heads and did that. I feel like, Bud leaving, they was like, fuck it, we'll take his belt. He ain't really talking about fighting no more. Could be the reason? Or could it be the reason he just said, you know what, I ain't doing it? So many people had their opinion. Oh, Bud's wrong. He's wrong. He claimed to this and claimed to that. Well, let me put this to you. Say a dude decide, you know what? Y'all saying this is a championship fight, but I'm going in the ring, and I'm going to tell y'all now before I even get in the ring, fuck that belt. I'm going out here to beat up the so-called champion that y'all got. The money that I make off this purse, I'm keeping it all for me and my people. Whether y'all give me the belt or not, I don't care. Because if you go out there and a champion get whooped by a dude who say, yeah, you can keep the belt, I ain't paying, who's the champ? It don't matter that dude kept that belt. That dude that went out there and said, I'll keep y'all belt and then whoop that champ's ass. Just think if fighters start doing that. Where does that leave the boxing? I forgot what I was calling them now. But where does that leave them? What does that lead the organization of the WBC, WBO, WBA, IBF? If a dude so cold said, you know what, I'm gonna whoop this dude. People gonna see me whoop this dude. The world gonna know. It ain't like you could say he didn't do it. This dude whooped your champ and then told y'all can keep that belt because I'm not paying you all that money. Y'all took Shakur Stevenson's belt in a fight that was at a different weight class. I haven't heard a reason why. And if I'm tripping, but I think he said that the sanctioning fee that they were trying to hit him for was like $100,000. Why? Why? They stripped him at the lower weight class. How many times have we seen fighters go up, come down, go up, come down? Nothing happened to their belts. Plenty. I guess I'm harping too hard on it. But I just thought that I wanted to bring it up because it kind of bothers me that these organizations make claims and make statements and they're not showing us anything for it. They're not showing us no receipts. You're right. They took that belt hella quick. He said they took that belt with the quickness. They sure did. It was like he won the belt. He won the title where he beat up T.O. at 140 one day. A couple of days later, he was stripped. He was stripped before he could even negotiate a fight of who he was going to fight next. Because he said he was going back down. It's not like he said he was going up and not coming back down. He said he was coming back down. Canelo went up, didn't give us a decision on if he was going back down or not, but he held those belts for a long time before it was decided that they were going to strip him. But by then, when it was time, when they stripped him, he had already gained belts at another weight class where they knew that the money was going to still flow. Unless I'm wrong, somebody tell me. But that's the way it seemed to me. They let it slide until he won belts at a higher weight class. Oh, we still gonna get paid. We go ahead and strip him now. Get out of here with that. Get out of here with that. It's disrespectful. And I'm gonna steal every time now. Y'all hear me talk about these champs, and somebody say something about one of these organizations. Well, what they doing for these fighters? What are they doing for these fighters? They don't have to do anything for the regular people, but they should be doing something for the fighters. Plain and simple. Give back. I ain't saying you got to break yourselves, but I'm sure you got enough people paying in, and all of them not sick and in need. But hell, we shouldn't be seeing any of them sick and in need, especially old greats. We shouldn't be seeing them hurting or showing up to a function looking like their wardrobe come from 40 years ago. We shouldn't be seeing it. But it is what it is, and that's life, I guess. And until somebody pull it together and make a change, it's gonna be that way. Hats off to the late John McCain, who tried to do that. But corruption runs deep. I guess that's enough of my going off on that. Who saw the Brandon Figueroa fight and Nick Ball? Brandon's work rate still the same. He like a conquistador to me, the way his mustache and beard look. But the Heartbreak went out there and did his job, kept the pressure on. Nick Ball, he tried to get some in there and do his thing. Great fight back and forth. They going through it back and forth. And in rolls the 12th round. And Brandon Figueroa catches this man with a hook that sends him to the ground face first. The referee's counting and give him his chance. You could see that he was clearly discombobulated. The way he stepped to the referee, he looked like he was a little off balance. But he gave him a shot, let him keep fighting. And Figueroa unleashed on him again and knocked him. He fell between the ropes. I almost sneezed loud on that one, but he came back in. Now, the thing that was surprising to me, because I was like, dang, Brandon got the knock. He dropped the man, stopped the man. And this man's corner, I saw one of his corner people get in the ring. It looked like they was trying to fight. Like they wanted to start a fight. How do you get so mad and you want to start a fight because your man got dropped? Not once, but twice. Got his dome shook. That was it was a high energy fight as far as what Brandon Figueroa comes in and gives, because the man constantly lets his hands go, constantly bringing that pressure, just constantly. Now, I did notice Nick Ball got in a shot that looked like it shook up Brandon a little bit, but not to the point where he was out of his senses. He held a little bit, got himself back together, but he never stopped letting his hands go throughout the whole fight. Throughout the whole fight, he just kept letting him go, steady bringing that pressure till he got Ball up out of there. Got him up out of there, y'all. Did anybody see that fight? Because I felt like it was a good fight. I didn't get to see the whole fight. I had to come in and catch pieces of it because my work schedule keeps me from seeing the fights or games now. So I had to come in. He said send Ball to the shadow realm. That's where he was at. He had his ass out there just out there looking strange, looking lost. And when they put the camera on his face, he did look a little lost. I'm not gonna lie to you. After that punch landed on him, he did look like he was a little out of there. He was a little out of there, off his balance, off of everything. He was shook to the core. Shook up, but not shook out. He said then he bounced up before he said then he up and bounced before the announcement. Yeah, sore loser type thing. You don't even stay around to let this man, to let this man get his hand raised. You know you lost, so you just leave. You don't hear nobody complaining about that, but that is a great point. You know what I'm saying? Unsportsmanlike conduct. But you can't, you ain't gonna hear nobody get on him about that. Oh, Brad, Nick Ball just walked out the ring. He didn't stay around, because you better be believing if it was gonna go to decision, he would have stayed out there. I was hearing people saying that they felt like they were gonna try to stick it to old Brandon. But I think somebody came out with the cards and said Brandon was winning on the cards too. So either way, Brandon was going to take that fight 9 times out of 10. Unless they had to pull a real slick one right in the end. But congratulations to him for taking it out the judge's hands and not letting it be in their hands for a decision and getting the stoppage. And, that's the best way to do it. If you want, unless you just whitewashing somebody where the world know, man, this man beat this dude from pillar to post. I could take that kind of win to like Shakur over T.O. I took that win. I was satisfied with that win. No, he didn't get to knock out, but he whooped his ass all fight. And he whooped him with a jab and a couple of hooks. But he did get a little nasty when they was going to the body. I won't take that from him. So my hat goes off to Brandon Figueroa for him going out there and doing what he needed to do and getting the stoppage. It was a pretty stoppage. So, it started off early that we seen some pretty stoppages. Shushu Carrington with that pretty stoppage he got a couple of weeks ago. Exactly. Super sore loser. Looking like the Detroit Pistons back in the day. Oh, you talking about when Mike Man beat him and they just walked off the court, no handshake, no dab, nothing, just walked off. Well, I guess you just gotta expect it sometimes. Some people show they show you who they really are in the time of problem. As a winner, you can stand there, you can smile, you can kiki, ha, laugh. You want to shake hands, pat backs, tell the person good fight, all this here. But when you get your ass whooped, then all of a sudden you can't say, man, good fight, better man won. Or you could just stand there, let his hand get raised. You don't have to say shit. Ain't nobody saying you got to give an interview. But damn, to walk off before if you go into the hospital, that's something different. You know what I'm talking? If they say you need some medical attention right away, we got to get him up out of here. I can understand that. But it didn't look like you really needed no medical attention. It just looked like you got beat. Your gas tank ran out. The check energy light came on, and down you went. Down you went. Face forward too. Face forward. But I give it to him. He was able to straddle himself and get up. But the referee kind of threw me off. He was counting when the man was in between the ropes. Bro, that fight is over. The way he landed in those ropes, ain't no need to fight no more. Go and wave it off. Go on and wave it off. Give Brandon Figueroa his thing. And I'm super grateful for the fact because Brandon Figueroa represents Texas. That's right. He represents Texas. So, I was telling my wife, we got another Texas boy doing his thing. Brandon Figueroa, Big Figgy, went out there and put hands on Nick Ball, went across the pond and did what he needed to do. Does that make him 3-time division or 4-time division? I think it's 3-time. So congratulations to Brandon Figueroa for going out there and doing his thing. Pride. What they say, pride is before the downfall. His pride was hurt. Too bad for that. I'm sorry. Oh man. Give me 1 second, cause female fighters that's got me excited, and that's Caroline Dubois. And as soon as I could remember girl name, and I can't believe I can't remember her name. They got their fight getting ready to come up. I didn't realize Dubois was so short as far as that. But I kind of want to see her line up against Alicia Baumgardner. I think that'd be a good fight. Give me 1 second. While I fix this. Yeah, y'all just give me a second. I'm trying to get something squared away, get things smoothed out. Shit, shoot. I want to be doing too much, so I can find this lady's name. Kathy. God, it's DeCane. I wish DeCane was here because it's one of the girls. One of the girls I think he high on because she could fight. I'm gonna hit y'all with Stella Rosa 1 second, and once so I can go ahead and get these names right because I want to make sure I give the right people their props. Y'all hold it down just for a second. Be right back. My bad. That was the wrong Stella Rosa. Not supposed to play that one. This is the right Stella Rosa. My fault, fellas.
Berry, melon, rosso, rose, red apple, bianco, pineapple, black cherry, ruby rose, grapefruit, moscato, iced tea, tropical, mango, green apple, blackberry, orange fusion, lemon lime, French vanilla, red wine, black wine, pink wine, peach wine, blueberry, golden, honey peach, royal. I'm spoiled 'cause you're tasty, 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 tasty.
That's right. Terry Harper. I'm gonna go ahead and let this finish smoothing out, and then we're gonna come back on Terry Harper and Caroline Dubois.
Candles are burning, the music is low. You're fine as wine and your body close. You sway to the melody, your poetry in motion. I'm caught in a spell and you got the potion. And I'll pull you closer so I can embrace you. The smell of your clavicle makes me wanna taste you. You're my Stella Rosa. You're my Stella Rosa. You're my Stella Rosa. You're my Stella Rosa. Our bodies are touching. I put my hands on your waist. This passion is burning as I invade your space. You slow grind up on me while I'm tracing your spine. I'm caressing your curves, girl, with nasty thoughts on my mind. I'm kissing on your shoulders, removing your gown. You roll your neck like you're stretching as I begin to go down. You're my Stella Rosa. You're my Stella Rosa. You're my Stella Rosa. You're my Stella Rosa. Berry, melon, rosso, rose, red apple, bianco, pineapple, black cherry, ruby rose, grapefruit, moscato, iced tea, tropical, green apple, blackberry. You taste it.
I am back. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about Caroline Dubois and Terry Harper. That is the fight. Thanks, Derek Bailey, for getting me square on that. I'm checking them out in they face off, in they conversation going back and forth. Terry Harper seems to be confident, as well as Caroline Dubois. I think it's going to be a good fight, a good scrap. I'm looking forward to it. I kind of want Caroline to win because I want to see her and Alicia Baumgarten to get down and fight. But Terry Harper, I don't think that's going to be any way, shape, form, or fashion of an easy fight. And Terry Harper also made mention that Caroline kind of fades in the later rounds, and that's when the fight will start. That's when she's going to step on the gas and start bringing it to Caroline Dubois. Now, I've noticed Caroline, you know, she is a southpaw, which in a lot of times kind of favors southpaws. You know, she does have energy. She does have good offense. I'll give her that. She does have good offense. She has okay defense. I won't take anything like that away from her. But Terry Harper, she turns over her punches pretty damn good. And she's no slouch at all when it comes down to it. And it looks like she's the more rangier fighter out of the two. I'm not for sure 100% on her dimensions, but I do think she has the longer arms. I know she is the taller fighter, but it looks like a couple of inches. And Terry Harper is, you know, being calm, cool, and collected. You know, Caroline Dubois seems to be trying to get up under her skin. She's saying that you know, I can outbox her. I'm faster than her. I'm stronger than her. These and that. And she's saying that Terry Harper is taking it personal. She's letting it get up under her skin, but all she's doing is selling the fight like she's supposed to. And when it comes fight night, she's going to show what it is. Terry Harper, like I said, if she is capable of pulling it off and taking Caroline into the deeper waters where she said Caroline kind of fades, then Caroline is going to have to dig deep in order to unhinge Miss Harper. That's what I'm looking at. I want to know what, excuse me, I want to know what you guys are thinking about that fight with these ladies. MVP Promotion has Caroline Dubois. They also boast the fact that they have Alicia Baumgarten over there, which Caroline took a shot at old Alicia. She said when she fought against Michaela Mayer, you know, Michaela Mayer had just went up, came back down. She, you know, she was a little tired, and Alicia was on drugs. That's just how she said it. Alicia was on drugs. She didn't sugarcoat it or anything like that. So I don't think the blood between those two are good at all. And that's a scrap that I wouldn't mind seeing. And I think it would be a good one. I think they both boast a little speed. I can say Alicia has looked a little different since being accused of being dirty. You know, didn't really follow it to the very end of if she was cleared or not. Don't really care. And I'm not saying I don't care that she was dirty, because I do care, because y'all know I always say I can't mess with dirty fighters. I just don't. But I wouldn't mind seeing her and Caroline Dubois go head to head and get it on. But Caroline cannot look past Terry Harper in no way, shape, form, or fashion, or she mess around and go out there and get her ass toe off the bone. So I just had to touch on that because I think it'd be a good scrap between Caroline and she's the WBA WBO champions fight. Oh, it's a unification. That makes it that much sweeter. I don't know if they having problems with the sanctioning fees like their male counterparts, but it's a champion against champion, and we know they champions, and you know, whatever goes down shall go down. Who do you think will come out as the unified champion? You know, who do you think will come out as the unified champion? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. Will it be Terry Harper? Will it be Caroline Dubois? She was, you know, her and her brother were, I think he had a belt while she had belts, which would make the second tandem at one point in boxing to be in the history books as brother and sister as champion, kind of like the Fundoras with that sweet poison over there. That little sister over there, is she she's undisputed now, I think. Can't remember, but I think Sweet Poison is undisputed. But Terry Harper and Caroline Dubois are getting it together, getting ready to line it up, and that fight is not too far off from us. So
big up to them and how it goes down. Once again, big up to MVP for getting these ladies in these fights where they making good money. They getting paid. They getting respect over there. Even though they top guy, Jake Paul got his jaw broke going up against Anthony Joshua. It is what it is. Let him keep fighting if he wants to keep fighting, you know, that part. But as far as what he's doing for the ladies, congratulations. And yeah, he said that's a good question. Yeah, who you what do you think gonna go down with it, Derek Bailey? Moody Trayweather is in the building. Salute my brother. Glad to see you was able to come through and catch up with us. You know, we in here just going over. I complained a lot about the sanctioning fees and things like that, and these companies not really doing anything for the boxers of yesterday and the boxers of the past. Not giving them, I don't know if they're giving them places to where they can go and train and not have to worry about paying to train, because if you're paying sanctioning fees, they should be paying for something for you. He said, can go either way. Harper has a little more experience, and that experience could play a big deal in it. You know what I'm saying? The experience and the fact that she believes that Caroline fades later in the fight, which means that Caroline, if this is true, she's going to have to step to Terry Harper and make Terry weather the storm. Can Terry weather the storm, an early storm, and come out and be able to say, okay, you gave me what you got. Now get what I'm about to give. That's the question. That is the question. Will it be a tug of war of that kind of nature, where the first half of the fight, Caroline is looking crisp, strong, and agile, hostile, or will Terry Harper come out there and be able to use that experience? And like I said, I think she has the length, and she turns over her punches well, and she, you know, good defense, in my opinion, good footwork, enough that she'll be able to withstand the storm. You know, that's the question. Can Caroline bring it, and can Terry withstand it? But once the middle of the fight comes around, will we see a down tick in Caroline's output? I can't say that Terry makes a good point, because I can't remember what fight it was. I have seen Caroline slow down a little bit, but not as much as I've seen Alicia slow down in the latter parts of the fight. So it's a give or take situation here, and I'm guessing it's going to be really who you like the most out of the two to see win. But right now, the girls are doing their thing. The ladies, not girls, the ladies are doing their things, and I'm looking forward to seeing that fight go down. I don't know. Is Terry Harper part of MVP, or is she part of Matchroom? Not really sure. I'll have to look that up and find out. But that's the fight that I'm looking for. A lot of people know we're not talking about the quote and what watch your mouth. My brother Hyphy that popped in, and he would pop in and say that I was talking about somebody else. Watch your mouth about Alicia. I'm from Detroit. Okay, I feel you. I'm from Gary. And that don't change the fact that Alicia was accused of being dirty. And Caroline just straight said she was on drugs. You know what I'm saying? And she said that the reason Michaela Mayer didn't beat Alicia, because Mayer came down. She was tired, you know, coming down from a highway division to fight Alicia, and Alicia was on drugs. That's just what she said. And I don't know how you gonna defend that, Hyphy. You know what the button is. You can press it. You can come on here and defend your girl from Detroit, you know. But right now, honest, you know, you can't argue with the fact that Alicia has looked a little different. She has looked a little different since being accused. You can't fight that. I'll even say her body looks a little softer since being accused. The muscles that the way she used to be kind of ripped isn't still there like that. So I don't know. Is it some weight to that statement that Caroline Dubois made or not? But what I do know is that fight is coming up around the corner, and Not to forget, you know, that you still got the GWOAT getting ready to fight against Desiree Franchon Cruz, which I'm hearing a lot of people saying that Desiree might surprise the GWOAT because they saying they don't think the GWOAT is focused. They say she got too much going on, popping up with rap songs and glamored up and everything like that, which you can't be mad for getting glamored up. You know, at one point when she was first in the game, what was people saying? Oh, she ugly, this and that. Well, I ain't never subscribed to that. But now she got a little money. She can, you know, do things the way she want to do things. And it is what it is. Yeah, Alicia and Caroline has to get it on. They got to. They got to. They didn't already, you know, didn't Caroline call her out at the last time they was all on the card? Caroline called Alicia out on the stage. You know, Alicia, I think it kind of surprised her. Took her by surprise that Caroline popped off like that and was like, yeah, you know, I can whoop you. You know, you ain't all that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all both under the same banner. See, Derek Bailey agrees with me. He said, yeah, she looks a little smoother, not as muscular. I noticed that, you know, when after the accusations of her being on drugs to help her be what she is, you know, some of us in our conversations was like, yeah, she was kind of roiding out a little bit. She was raging a little bit. She does not look like the same fighter. Hence, you know, after the accusations, there does look like a change has been made. She might be 100% clean right now. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares about Papoose, bounce back girlfriend Alicia, #1 pound for pound women. She's the woman's version of Terence Crawford. I'm sorry I can't subscribe to that notion, Hyphy, because as far as #1 pound for pound women's fighter, it has to be Clarissa Shields, T-Rex, the GWOAT, whichever moniker you want to call her by. Alicia, good fighter, champion, I give her that, but none of those women have done what Clarissa has done or is doing. For at the moment right now, if somebody's going to be the pound for pound, the girls, Terence Crawford of boxing, as far as those girls go, I have to give it to Clarissa Shields. I can't give it to Baumgardner right now. Baumgardner is making a name for herself and doing a thing, but she also has a loss. That's not something that Terence Crawford has done. He hasn't taken a loss. Clarissa Shields hasn't taken a loss as pros. So with that being said, for me, pound for pound, #1 is the GWOAT. Now, if she's not focused and everything like that, that'll tell when it's time for her to fight Franchon Desiree Cruz. But I think the GWOAT is quietly doing what she needs to do. Just because we're seeing a little more and we're seeing her jazzed up a little more doesn't mean she's not on her game. Because she has a man on her side that people seem to know his name does not mean she's not on her game. Nobody says Alicia is not on her game when she's popping up being glamored and talking about she's the sexiest woman boxer and she's been voted the sexiest woman boxer and all that. Nobody says anything about that. They ride along with it. So with that being said, I'm not going to take anything away from from Clarissa until somebody takes it away from Clarissa. And right now, when it comes to women's boxing, she got it all. She got it all. Undisputed in more than one weight division, unified in another weight division, 2-time gold medal, Olympic gold medalist. Who else could make those? Who else could do that? Who else could make those claims? Nobody but the GWOAT when it comes to the women. Nobody but the GWOAT. Her and Franchon banged it out early in their careers. Clarissa came out with the win. And now they're getting ready to run it again. Time has changed. They have grown in their sport. They have got more, their skills gotten more defined, more refined, and their knowledge of what needs to be done inside the ring has grown. So I'm looking forward to seeing that come together and bang out. And Shakur made it to fight, go to the retirement. You ain't on shitty. Oh, he talking about Derek Bailey. If the knockout stops, then he will not. Wait, if the knockout stops, then we will not. Alicia has some crack in her punches. Yeah, she has some crack in her punches, but what was the I can't remember the lady, kind of slim lady that she was fighting that was giving her everything she wanted in that fight. She still pulled it off, but that lady fought hard. I don't know if she was from Italian or from France or Australia, but I can't remember her name. But she did give give a good showing of herself against Alicia. Derek Bailey say, when is Tank coming back? You know, Tank has been gone so long. To maybe there's some substantialness. Maybe his talk about retiring maybe is more true than not. I don't know when he's coming back. I don't even know if he's supposed to be fighting. The last thing we heard from him is him saying that he wanted to go ahead and give Pitbull a rematch after that Lamont Roach tie. But I don't know. So that's a good question. You know, I don't know what's going on with this case that was put up against him, which is not really you know, from what I understood, he was able to bond out quite cheap for all the things that they said he has supposedly done. First thing, the very next thing I'm hearing is it sounds like a money grab, but you know, they turn it into what kind of suit is that when they go after you for your money? It's not criminally charged. It's much easier for you to win that case. God dang, I can't remember the name of the case. Somebody help me out here. Kind of like what the Goldmans did to OJ when they sued him and took his money and stuff like that. So I don't know when Tank is coming back. It's kind of like, where's Tank? Like, where's Waldo? But that is a good question. When will he be showing back up? You know, don't really know. Kind of like, you know, we hearing the rumblings about so-called Earl Spence supposed to be coming back against Tim Tszyu. But is it true or not? I know Hyphy should have his, wait a minute, what did he say? Kawhi socked up Ant and dropped 41 and blew them out. Anthony Edwards ain't shit. Yeah. Civil suit. You're right. That's what it is, a civil suit. I don't know why I couldn't think of that anyway. 16,000 was the bill, which isn't a high bill, you know, when you listen to the experts say for all the stuff that he was supposed to be accused of, but because I think they said because they was in Florida, you know, the warning and all that kind of stuff was put out, which a big thing was dispelled about people saying he had left the country and was in hiding somewhere else, and he got caught where the warrant was put out at, not too far. Oh, really? Brian Sr. and Jr. are back cool again? I am so glad to hear that, Hyphy, because it really bothered me that the dad was saying that he wouldn't be in the corner and stuff like that for his son. You know, that's crazy. I'm glad they were able to pull it back together. Speaking of father and son, you know, after T.O. took his loss, that fiasco that went down with them, what can you say? Derek Bailey said EJ looks like he's been training. He might be coming back. Let's be honest. Every time we've seen EJ when he did make a little pop up, it looked like he might have been training, staying in shape. But unless somebody can pump up one of these organizations can put out and say this fight is taking place, all we can do is sit back and wonder. You know what I'm saying? Now that it's Tim Tszyu. I remember when Tim Tszyu was first. Oh no, it was Virgil Ortiz and Oscar. Oscar was calling him out. You know, people were like, "Come on, man, we ain't seen you early in I don't know how long." But going up against Tim, both of them coming from losses. You know, it's a good chance for both of them to try to get themselves back on the win, back into their winning ways and back get a buzz back up under their name. Don't know what to expect either way, especially seeing the way they both lost. You know, it's not like one lost by getting knocked out or something like that. They both got stopped. They both were getting beat on. So it's not like, you know, you can draw from that because they both got beat up in their last fight. It's just that Earl has been gone since 2023. Tim hasn't been gone as long as Earl, and we don't know exactly how hard Earl has been working over the 3 years, or close to 3 years. That's a lot, as people would say. That's a lot of ring rust. That's a lot of not being up under the bright lights to make it happen. To you know, who has he been going against to sharpen his weapons? You know, I haven't seen anybody say, "Oh yeah, I've been sparring with Earl. I've been working with Earl, this and that." Only thing I know is that the big thing that would be a headline catcher is Earl Spence has been messing with Roy Jones. That's the biggest I can get out of it. That's the biggest I can get out of it. Yeah, you're right, Derek Bailey. But once again, think about it. When certain fighters get accused of stuff, they do make them look like he said, yeah, they made it sound like Tank was a serial killer or a damn terrorist. Now let's think about what's his name, the Crusher. He did some pretty Kovalev. He did some pretty nasty things. They hit at it very briefly and then let it slide up under the rug. You know, they didn't harp on it like they did with Tank. Now, do you say because Tank had a bigger name than Kovalev? Possible. But I have my thoughts on why things like that went down, and it is what it is. That's all I can say. Shit. So, yeah, it's Spence against Tim. Who you got if they fight? That's what I want to know. Moody, who you would be rolling with if Tim and Earl go at it? For me, I can't even think of who I would be willing to say is the man or going to show up and show out. But somebody got to show up and show out. He's okay. Hyphy going with Earl. After Earl get with Tim, he coming to headshot Bernie the Boxer's homeboy. Who? Can't be talking about Terrence Crawford. Oh, this is gonna be Spence's debut at 154. Okay, so now he, you know, that sets the stage. He coming back. If he makes it back, like I said, they haven't put a date on it yet. They're just saying unspecified date this summer. What does that mean? I need one of these organizations to go ahead and say, hey, this fight is taking place. Y'all get ready for the return of Earl Spence Jr. And when you say the return, you got to give it to both of them. The return of Earl Spence Jr. and Tim Tszyu. Tim Tszyu, who was stopped against the Tyrant Inferno, not stopped this time because of an elbow, which people say that changed the outlook of the fight. Because the second fight, that didn't happen. He just was getting beat up. And when asked, he was like, that's one tough son of a, you know, for Fundora. Fundora went out there and put those hands on Tim. We all know, it breaks my heart every time I have to think about it. I get a little sad. But we all know what happened to Earl when he went out there and faced Terrence Crawford. They both got beat up. Simple and plain. So who's going to come back? Oh, Derek Bailey said he got Spence. Okay, so we got Hyphy with Spence. We got Derek Bailey with Spence. I'm literally going to say I don't know. You know, I am a Spence fan, but I can't just make a judgment off of that. The man has been gone so long, I don't know what his training regimen looks like. I don't actually know who's in his corner yet. Who's going to be out there with him to make sure things are going good for him. Do you think that Roy Jones Jr. is a good fit as a trainer for Earl Spence Jr.? Not if he's gonna be trying to get Earl to do some things like he used to do. Earl isn't that kind of athletic guy like Roy Jones was. That to me, that's not nowhere near the same book to be reading from. Earl, as most people say, is more of a technical fighter. Roy Jones was so athletic that technicality and technician wasn't part of his game plan. He didn't need it. So I need to know who's going to be training Earl, and we need to see what in the world is really, what does he look like? You know what I'm saying? You don't have to give me some sparring footage of him sparring somebody great, but give me some glimpses of his workout. Give me some glimpses of him hitting the bag. Give me some glimpses of his footwork. And if y'all want to throw in a little bit of sparring, give me some of that too. You know? He said Earl needs to stop running from Gil fighter though. Who? Keith Thurman? Yeah, I guess at this point in time in day, him and Thurman could lock it up. But you know, I'm not one person to say that if a fighter needs to change their mind about who they fight. It is what it is. If he fights Keith, he fights Keith. If he doesn't fight Keith, he doesn't fight Keith. He's been mad at Keith for a long time about Keith not wanting to give him a chance, and the tables turning. You know how that went. He said Tim hasn't been gone. He just losing. Has he fought again since Fundora beat him up? Oh yeah, I think he did get knocked out by somebody else, didn't he? The last thing I remember seeing him get knocked out, getting stopped was against Fundora. So my mistake as with that. So him being in the ring a little more often than Earl, because we haven't seen Earl since Crawford, you know, that kind of gives him the edge. I guess you would think, or one would say it kind of gives him the edge when it comes to them getting in the ring. Because honestly, we can hope that Spence looks a certain way, but we just don't know. We really just don't know. We have nothing to base it on. The last thing we had to base Spence on was his showing against Crawford, with so many people was like, he didn't look right coming to the ring. He looked high, you know, all that kind of stuff. I really can't say confidently that I think Spence will go out there and beat up or handle his business against Tim Tszyu. I can say that I hope that he goes out there and handles his business against Tim Tszyu, but hope is, you know, that's all it is hope. You know, this man gonna have to come out there and show us that he's ready. He said, nah, Roy Jones just opened up a gym in Dallas, I believe. Oh, that's what's going on? Either way, I did see that they were saying that they had connected again, but does anybody know who's training him? That's what I want to know. He said, then Spence and Keith can get it on if one-time body holds up. Well, I guess what could make it more intriguing if Keith can go out there and if Keith can go out there and get past the Towering Inferno, which in my opinion is a tall order, but it's not impossible. Keith has shown us that he can wind the clock back. He did it against Mario Barrios. A lot of people, you know, that's Mario Barrios, you know, whatever. But he did it. Then he went out there and was it Brock Jarvis that he knocked out? So he turned the clock back twice. The third time could be the charm. He can come out there and look spectacular and surprise us and stop the Towering Inferno and take his belt. Will that be more intriguing for Earl Spence to fight if he can get past Tim Tszyu? If they even make it to the ring. You see how I have to put a lot of ifs in there? And I remember the old folks saying back in the day, if was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. And it's just too many ifs having to be thrown into the situation for this Earl Spence and Tim Tszyu thing. So until they actually make it a concrete date and we see these boys step in the ring and the bell rings, then we know it's on. But honestly, you know, being a Spence fan as much as I am, at 147, remember I always said I like Spence over everybody, but I like Bud. You know, Bud was my second choice when it came to 147. He's now the top dog in whatever fight. You know, I never say that I would think Bud would lose to anybody else but Spence, and he proved me totally wrong. Spence has a lot of ground to cover. Being gone for so long, you know, the guy got dreads as long as mine. Shit. And that's how long he's been out the ring. His look has changed so many times. But he does look in shape. It does look like he's been working out and things like that. And that could be just, I'm just staying in shape. Doesn't mean he's staying in fighting shape. So only time will tell with that. Detroit young boy sucked up the shot. Okay, you talk about basketball. Okay, Moody Trayweather say Fundora putting Belcher ass on Thurman. Just straight up like that, huh? He putting that BTA on Thurman. So you don't give Thurman a chance at all? I have to give him a slight chance for the simple fact the couple of times that he did show up, he showed up and he looked decent. I was kind of high on Brock Jarvis at one point, but Brock Jarvis even looks like he done changed a lot since early. It is what it is. He said, that's true. We need to see where Spence is right now. Exactly. We need to see his head space. Does he still have that determination, that grit? The book is out on him, as far as I see, if you can outbox him, you catch him reaching, because in that fight with Crawford, you saw a lot of the flaws with him reaching, him being off balance, stuff like that. Has he corrected those things? Has he stopped drinking? We know we've seen him buzz on alcohol before or whatever, but things like that, not living the life of a warrior as far as being a fighter, comes back to haunt you. Not fighting as often, having these long layoffs. We've learned our lessons about picking fighters on long layoffs. That has come back to bite us. So all I can say is, if he comes back, if they get to fight over the finish line, I would be glad to see Earl in the ring again. I would, if he's fighting for the right reasons, if he really wants to be a fighter again. He's quick to say, I'm gonna fight when I'm ready. When people ask him, when you coming back? When I'm ready to come back. Okay, cool, champ. When you're ready to come back is when you're ready to come back. But when you bring your ass back, be ready. Don't come out here and let the fans down because you ain't ready. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's ever accused you of being one of the ones fighting for money and all this kind of stuff. They accused you of being one of the ones trying to unite a division. So let that be the reason that you're about to show back up and put pause on somebody. You know what I'm saying? He said, I like Thurman. I just don't like that matchup. Oh, him and Fundora? Yeah, because that's a lot to get through. That reach that Fundora has. And we see Fundora has started using his length as opposed to trying to fight on the inside, which we know he likes to scrap on the inside, which is strange to see such a long, lanky fighter do that. But he does it well. He had that mentality. If he can box, Keith at the end of that long ass jab. I want to know how Keith is planning on getting on the inside to even be able to cause damage. Keith said he's gonna touch that chin and put Fundora down. I for one want to see how he's going to accomplish that. How are you going to get past Fundora's jab, Fundora's reach? And Fundora, as we've seen since he become champion, he seems like he's grown into that role and a little more confidence has grown. He's been stopped before, so it's not like that would be an issue for him. He's been stopped and came back to become champion. So with that part going, it is a quite odd matchup. But then again, when you think about it, you can't really like that matchup when it comes to Fundora with anybody, because he's an anomaly. He's a strange matchup for everybody because of his length and everything. He said Earl was asked about Jamil. Hold on. Earl was asked about Jamil calling him out. He said he socked up Jamil every day in sparring. Asked Derek, and it would be the same thing if they lock up today. So that's what Earl was alluding to when he was saying that he needs some money or something like that. But my question is this: what changed? What changed with Jamil and Earl? With Jamil and Earl. Because at one point, remember, Jamil wasn't talking about fighting Earl. Earl was the first one to say, "Yeah, we could fight if the money right." I do remember that. That hasn't faded out of my mind. He has to fight tough like Mendoza. Oh, that's the guy that stopped Tyron Inferno. I'm gonna jump back on that. But going back to Jamil and Earl. Same thing with Jamel and Earl. Jamel hasn't. When the last time we see him fight? He's been out the ring for a super long time with whatever issues that he was having. So these fighters that are coming back or supposedly coming back or calling out names and things like that, first have a fight, look good in the fight, and then make your call out. But don't come back talking about what you did in sparring and you beating up somebody in sparring all the time, because I remember seeing them on camera together and Jamel made a comment about all the lefties he had been stopping and stuff like that when it came to lefties. And Spence quickly checked him and was like, no, that ain't what be happening like that. And Jamel didn't give any pushback when Earl said that. So I don't know how true it is that he was beating up Earl in sparring and everything like that. They was always quick to say it was good work. But when he did kind of go left a little bit, Earl did kind of check him on it, and he didn't give a response to it. So he hasn't been in the ring in damn near forever. His brother hasn't been in the ring in damn near forever. Earl hasn't been in the ring in damn near forever. And these are the names that are starting to pop back up. Who is Jamel lined up to be fighting? So right now, calling those names is almost like calling on a ghost from back in the day, ghosts of Christmas past. Do they still got it? In the famous words of Teofimo Lopez, do they still got it? Do I still got it? Do I still got it? That's the question that we're going to be asking for Earl. Does he still have it? That'll be the question we'll be asking for Jamel. Does he still have it? And that's the same question that we'll be asking for Jamal. Does he still have it? Three names that used to ring loudly in boxing are right now distant whispers. So until one of them or all of them can step back into the ring and flip a page and show us that they still got it, talking about them is just a hopeful thought, a hopeful wish. Now, Keith does have to fight hard, fight tough like Mendoza. The only thing I can say that Keith probably won't have to worry about too much is the body shots, because Fundora have to come down too low to be attacking that body. But we do know Keith is susceptible to some good body shots. We've seen him get hurt to the body, but he don't go down. Weebles wobble, but they don't go down. Only person I seen put him down was Manny Pacquiao, which I had said Keith has a problem with going straight back, and Manny was the perfect person. If it was going to drop, somebody was going to drop him, would be Manny, because Manny has that hop forward, that jump in forward kind of style. And I felt like that he would catch Keith bagging up, and that's exactly what happened. Keith gonna have to be on his point. He gonna have to have some head movement, not be a stationary target, use his feet, make sure he doesn't let Fundora get a bead on him, because if Fundora gets to landing on him and starts getting comfortable on him, it could be a very long night for Keith. A very long night for Keith. Keith is gonna have to parry, dodge, slip, and get on the inside. I don't even know, the worry about, I would think about an up jab, but he don't have to worry about thinking about an up jab, because every punch he's going to have to be throwing pretty much to be up. The perfect plan for me is Keith to attack that body, chop down that tree, as he says he's going to do, work that body as often and smartly as possible. That's the best I can say that he have to, that's his best chances, in my opinion. Going after Fundora's head right out the gate, I would say leave that alone right out the start and wear down their body. Put some money in the bank. Deposit some money in the bank, so when later on in the fight comes down, those hands start getting a little heavy, those arms start getting heavy for Fundora. He start trying to protect that body, and then let loose on the top. That fight going to look like Mike Tyson's Punch Out. So you don't think, when I'm asking this, you think that Fundora just going to sweep Keith? I think Keith got pride, and I'm not saying pride like Nick Baldwin could be hurt where he'll walk out the ring and not standing there at the end. But I think Keith has the pride not to let himself get beat up like that. I think he'll work. I think I'll give him this. I think he does study. I think he does study and try to look for opportunities and weaknesses in his opponent. I will give him that, and I think I believe I'm not gonna say I believe that he is studying up on Fundora, what Fundora does good, what Fundora is weak at, and I think he's going to try to attack those points. It's my opinion. I think honestly that he should attack that body. He has a lot of real estate to work with as far as Fundora's body, because him being so tall and lanky, he just has to be smart as far as not letting himself get caught and let Fundora get comfortable and get into a rhythm. If he can keep Fundora from doing that, he stands a good chance. If his gas tank and his body, as you put, if his body holds up, if he can do that, he has a good chance to probably pull it off. But I say it's a long road to travel, and that work night could be hard for him when it rolls around. He said, I don't see a knockout. He said, I don't see a knockout. I see a clear winner. I understand that. I understand that, but a knockout could be possible. A stoppage could be possible. But like I said, we've seen Fundora get stopped before, and I believe that was a big learning tool for him of what to do, what to expect, and what not to do. I did give him. I did say that he was a pretty smart fighter when I saw him fight against Eric Lubin, and Lubin rung his bell and he took a knee to keep from taking punishment, so it wouldn't build up. And then he went on and finished working Lubin over. So I said the youngster is smart. Him being a champion now, and Trey Exton told us many times, and they said, once you become a champion, you become like 10% better. And I'm expecting to see that out of Fundora. So he and Keith Thurman, I think it should be a good fight, but it's going to really, in my opinion, rest on Keith's shoulders for it to be a good fight. Keith is going to have to come out there and really bring the fight to Fundora some kind of way. He's not going to be able to sit back and let Fundora fight from a distance. He's going to have to get in there. He's got to get in there. And Keith doesn't have that long, he doesn't have a hell of a arm reach. So his wingspan, he's going to have to rely on quickness, athleticism, and ring generalship. Those are things that Keith is going to have to be head and shoulders above on that night. Being able to use real estate in the ring, being able to have great punch placement, be on point with his defense, and just have fun. He's gonna have to keep Fundora resetting. He's gonna have to keep the Tyrant Inferno resetting in order to have to up his chances in gaining a win. That's my take on that fight. Seeing what it is he has to go against. Fundora is not the fastest guy in the world, but he's fast enough. You know what I'm saying? So all that range that Keith has to deal with, I'm looking forward to seeing how he's going to close ground and gain some real estate in order to put in his work, because outside is not going to get it for him. I don't see no way, shape, form, or fashion for him to work outside. Mid-range, maybe he can get some stuff going mid-range, but the fight for me is going to have to be Keith getting on the inside and tenderizing that body. Tenderize that body, Keith, in order to be able to touch that chin. Tenderize that body, get those hands to come down, start trying to protect that body. Then you'll be in business, baby. But other than that, I don't know what else to say for him. He said Brian Sr. said he watched T.O. Sr. pack up and leave his son ringside post-fight. Shakur said T.O. was waiting to see the doc all day by himself. Zero support system. Well, I did see that Shakur did say that, when they was going with the doctor visit, however they do, he did mention the fact that Senior was not there. That's another person's pride, I think, got in the way, and he missed the whole point. You there for your son when he's winning, and you could rah and you could cheer him on at that point. But in a loss, you know where to be found. And it wasn't just any kind of loss; it was a bad loss. It wasn't like you could stand there and make argument like you did when George Kambosos won. This was a whitewash. This was everything you said your son could do, be proven that he couldn't do it. And now that it happened, like you said, he's nowhere to be found. He packed up and left. You left your son out to dry. There's no need to harp on it a lot. I gave him the business last week. I don't want to give him the business this week. I could say I feel bad for T.O. as far as, his father not standing there for him, but everything else, I'm not sorry for. Your mouth wrote a check that your ass couldn't cash, and that's just what it is. That check that you wrote bounced, and it is what it is with T.O. and his father. T.O. get you somebody that's gonna stand there and support you from start to finish, win, lose, or draw. We can honestly say that we know his dad won't stand there with him, win, lose, or draw. Oh, you'll stand there and be with him 100% when he's winning. When it's a controversial win, a loss, George Kambosos, you can stand there and you'll argue the fact. You had a little something to stand on. But you went out there and you got washed. And the first thing you do is turn tail and run. Sad for you. It is what it is. Oh, man, Eric R. is in the building. What's good, family? What's going on? Salute to D-Lo 404 Boxing, the voice of reason. The man who helps you think and look at fights outside of the norm and give you points on things to make you say, that's different. What's going on? Glad to see you guys make it in. He say, Hyphy was cooking in. Okay, let me see. Here we go. He said, if I'm T.O.'s Pops, if I'm T.O., Pops could only see my fights on pay-per-view. Oh, so you would tell him not to even come to your fights anymore? Don't come to the gym, don't come to the ring. I don't know how, I can't say how to handle it, but what I can say, like it's being expressed, that it was sucker. It was a sucker move. You ran off and left your boy to hold a bag by himself. You were right along with him when he was making the videos, punching the bag, talking about where they liquor at. You was right along with him when he's talking about the bananas and all this kind of stuff. So be there with him when he took the loss in front of the world, when he got washed. When he got washed, you should have stood right there with that's your boy. The boy damn near spitting image of your funny looking self. He said, I'm going to go back and catch the rest of the live on Playback, fam. That's cool, bro. I understand, you got to work and get your rest in. Do that. I always notice that you do give me the respect and the pleasure of getting the playback. So you do help me get a view or two in. Y'all do me a favor and get my likes up a little bit so we can make other people know that we be doing our thing. We do be bringing up some stuff that other channels bring up after we bring it up over here at Musically Zone Talks Boxing. So that lets me know that we do get watched. Moody Trayweather said, I don't like T.O. Senior. That makes two of us. I don't like T.O. Senior, and I'm not a great fan of T.O. Jr. But it is what it is. The biggest fight of your son's career, and you don't have an answer. Drunk ass. Let him tell it. He wasn't drunk. He hasn't drank since last June. But Paul Shakur held up his cell phone with a picture, I'm supposing, of T.O. Senior, because the guy that was talking to him, like, that's him? He throwing up? If you ain't drunk, what you throwing up for? Maybe he was sick. Maybe we got bad information He said, I'm here for the duration, but I want to hear what I missed. Okay, I just was, in short, I gave some complaints about the fact that these boxing commissions are taking money. They're not showing us that they're helping these fighters. I said that they should open up some gyms where these fighters can go and work out for free, and because they paying for it. All these fighters is paying commissions that we don't know their names, we don't see their faces. A lot of them we are never going to learn their names and see their faces, but everybody's paying in. That's kind of what I was complaining about. But yeah, you say you're here for the duration. You can catch the other part later on. Junior left CTO because he went to find him that power he kept at. Oh, so he went to go look for the power. Where's your power, bro? Where's your power? Not step left or step right or catch this or take a step back or none of that stuff. Stop lunging. None of that. Just where's your power? You got to hit it. Horrible corner instructions. But remember, we got on Bozy Enos one time about lackluster corner instructions before. But I have to say that T.O. Senior's lackluster corner performance was much worse because you ran off and left your son. You ran off and left your son. In the time of all times of him being in the ring after a fight, this was the most crucial time and the time that he, in my opinion, needed you the most, and you weren't there. So, like I said, I feel sorry for T.O. that his father wasn't there to stand by him, but everything else, it is what it is. You get what you got, and shit, that's it. Simple, plain. What? You know what I'm saying? What? Now, we talk about father-son tandems. People didn't like, don't like, and was always on Devin Haney because they felt like Bill talked too much and ramped up. But what we have not seen Bill do is run off and leave his son. Win, lose, or draw. We have not seen him do that. We've actually seen him. His son took a loss. His dad went to all extremes with his son to let the world know that my son didn't just lose. My son was cheated. Helped his son sue, get rid of the O that was gone. He got it back. Bill Haney stood by his son. The Mayweathers, even though they scrapped and fought and did this, they stood by his son. I can only time I remember Mayweather Senior, when he fought Pacquiao, he was like, "You fighting scared," but it wasn't a scared thing. It was just, but they've always been by their son. Brian Norman Jr. Hyphy saying that Senior got back with Norman Jr. because I was gonna say, he was the other father that put a bad taste in my mouth but the son fired the dad, and dad feelings was a little hurt. Well, whatever. He said the dad is actually Junior. It's confusing though because sometimes he's called Senior and the son is called Junior. Oh, so T.O. is the third. Okay, I can feel that. He said I feel bad for T.O. Jr. on a competition level. Everything else I can care less. Yeah, I feel you on that. I didn't feel bad for him on the competition level. I felt bad for him for the fact that his dad didn't stand there and support him and stand there with him when the shitstorm started. That's the only thing I feel bad for him for. The competition level, don't feel. I have no soft spot at all for him because, like I said, his mouth wrote a check that his ass couldn't cash, and he went out there and paid for it. He went out there and got it handed to him. So blah to that. I'm not feeling sorry for anything like that. The only thing I'm feeling sorry for, only thing I feel bad for him for, because I'm not even feeling sorry for him. I feel bad that your dad didn't stand there and stand firm with you 10 toes down and people asking questions, make fun. His dad should have stood there and stayed tough. I noticed it took me a second, but I actually seen when Terrence Crawford was making fun of T.O. in the ring. The dad pushed push Chan's hand away from him, like, oh, get the fuck away from me or some shit like that. But it's okay when you do it. Chance made a great point. It's okay when y'all make fun and y'all do this and do that and say what you got to say. Now that the shoe is on the other foot, it don't feel so good. How they say when the rabbit got the gun, it ain't that fun. What'll make you laugh or make you cry? Well, you got to look at it like that. I ain't mad at Terrence Crawford because he made fun. He gave them exactly what they had been giving out. And we seen on the big stage under bright lights, they couldn't take it. And, for the fans that tried to whine for T.O., forget them. Don't care. T.O.'s dad was crying, talking about, he tried to blame it on networks and the fans not riding with his son. Well, that's usually how it works. Some fans are going to ride against your son. Some fans are going to ride with your son. Your fans that were riding with your son, what you expect them to say? Your son went out there and shat the bed. And then you didn't show up after the fight to stand there and represent for your son. So, yeah, it is what it is. You say, I'm not sure if T.O. is the third. It's like they are both junior. and junior. Like Kim Possible. I don't know if y'all know about that. It's a cartoon back in the day for my daughters used to watch. But it was a guy named Senior, and Senior, Junior. Father and son tandem. So that's what that reminds me of right there. Kenny Porter got so mad he beat Sean himself and screwed Bud again. Okay, I can go with that. Kenny Porter did throw in a towel on Sean Porter, and then he went so far as to say, well, my son didn't train the way he was supposed to train, and all this kind of stuff. That was another one that kind of put a little bad taste in my mouth because I felt like he should have let Sean keep fighting. If Bud was gonna stop him, that's what it was. But he should have let his son be the warrior that he was and continue to fight. We've seen Sean fight and push through every fight, win, lose, or draw. You should have gave him that chance to do that. Don't stop him because you mad because you felt like he didn't do it the way you wanted him to do it. He was out there doing the best he could against an opponent that had freaking skills. So with that part, I got you on that. He said, Kenny said, not on my watch. You're right. He did do that. He like, you ain't finna knock out my son in front of the world. So, you can look at it that way too. He said, Junior was so drunk, he named his son Senior. Tia was set up to fail because he gave him the wrong name. He said, I guess it was more like he was on his own doing the whole fight. Dad was just watching. Yeah, when you didn't have no information to give, because prior to the fight, he was talking about how great sparring was and all the things that he saw that his son was doing well and all this kind of stuff. I saw him in the interview saying that, none of the stuff that we did in sparring manifested in the fight. Maybe because the guy that you were fighting was better than you, that much more better than you. Maybe the stuff that you saw manifesting in the fight in sparring, because every time we saw T.O. in the gym, he was joking and laughing and jovial and all this kind of stuff and making wisecracks and stuff like that, and not really showing that he was really locked in. So maybe what you saw was a force. He said, MZ be watching Proud Family. Yeah, I used to watch the Proud Family. I got children. They grown now, but I had children. I watched a lot of crazy stuff with my baby. So, yeah, I watched the Proud Family. Yeah, I watched that. I'm not ashamed at all. Happy to see it. I sure did. I sat down and watched plenty cartoons with the babies. But, shoot, that's it. That's what I got. T.O., since somebody brought him up, that's what I got. Senior suck, junior suck, or junior suck, senior. So I don't know. Whichever one carried the moniker junior, whichever one carried the moniker senior, it is what it is. Y'all look bad. Dad made y'all look bad because, T.O., you look bad because you got beat. But you fought. You fought hard. You fought to the end. Nobody can take that away from you. I think the biggest thing that people really jumped all over was the fact that your daddy wasn't there for you when it was you say both suck. Okay, I'll give you that. They both suck. But I was trying to let me extend a little olive leaf, because I went hard on him last week, Moody. But yeah, they do both suck. Your actions brought forth something that you couldn't deal with. And it came from the guy that everybody wants to say, oh, he's not, you're not a power hitter. He can't knock out nobody, this and that. But I did mention that T only got a few more knockouts than Shakur. Only a few. He got more fights than Shakur too. So how much stronger than Shakur is he? And when they locked up in the ring, it didn't look like he was stronger than Shakur in the ring. Which brings me back to Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford. When they locked up in the ring, Crawford made a move that showed that Earl wasn't as strong as him. I do notice that with these fighters, they be talking about how strong they are and this and that. When they lock up, and at some point in the ring, when they lock up, they push each other, something like that. One fighter end up standing their ground. He'd be like, uh-oh, look like the strength battle went the other way. Bud showed it. Shakur showed it. The inside fighting that they said T.O. was capable of doing, didn't see it. But I did see Shakur get nasty on the inside. Shakur was actually bigger than T.O. There it is. That's from Moody Trayweather. The thing they saying about Shakur supposed should be fighting, he should fight Conor Benn and all this kind of stuff, but he shouldn't put a weight clause on it. Well, Shakur made to me, he made a sensible assessment of people saying that. He's like, the thing I'm saying is I'm putting a weight clause on them like as if they fighting for the WBF. You gain no more than 10 pounds when it's time to fight me. You're supposed to be at 147, you could be at 154, 150, something like that. That's as big as you can get. I'm not coming in the ring with you when I'm only 100. If I move up, I'm only 140, 344 pounds, and you 170, 163, something like that. I get that, and I get that understanding. So, yeah, I get what Shakur's saying. I'll fight these guys, but I ain't finna let them blow up to some massive size when my weight is not going to actually match to that. Makes sense. It really does. So if people saying, oh, he hiding, he being scary, well, you look at it and tell me if you would do it that way. If you knew that they were going to blow up 30, 40 pounds bigger than you at your biggest, you'd be willing to still stand in there and do it. And I don't want to hear that bullshit about, they fighters, this and that. We've seen that play out in some fights. We've seen some fighters come in at some ungodly size and it work against the smaller dude. Now, it's been some times that the smaller dude came out there and still made it happen. But T.O. Shakur looking at it like Devin, we talking about Devin, Ryan, we talking about Conor Benn, who's also been dirty at some point, so, you got to watch these cats. Devin, I ain't saying he was dirty, but, we know he can get big. People say he was too big for 135. They used to make fun of him saying that he looked like a skeleton. I remember when Floyd showed Shane he was stronger when they clinched. I was impressed. Going back to that, a lot of fights, we've seen fighters when it came down to those big fights, when those conversations was had. I'm stronger than you. I'm bigger than you. I'm faster than you. All those things manifested themselves when those fights took place. And I noticed it with Earl and Terrence. I noticed it with Shakur and T.O. It's been a few other fights that I've noticed it in. I'm like, damn, I guess you're not the strongest dude. And then after that, that's when the fight really takes a turn for the worse for the other guy. The guy that was the stronger, that's when the fight seems to turn, and you start seeing the guy that was supposed to be bigger, fast. I'm the naturally bigger man and all this kind of stuff. Well, didn't work out quite like that way for you. He said, I'm not going to cap for Shakur. Stop calling guys out if you have restrictions. Well, I'm not capping for him. I'm just saying I understand his logic. Now, I think Conor Ben, I won't say, I think Conor Ben was the one that called out Shakur. Shakur just as a natural person said, I've been boxing longer than you, I'll cook you. But at the same time, I do understand him saying that I'm not gonna come stand in the ring with you and let you blow up 30 pounds bigger than me. Now, we could say, Crawford didn't do that with Canelo, but then think about how people were saying Crawford must be on something because Crawford seemed to have gained so much weight so fast and put on body mass. Crawford was able to move up to a comfortable weight, and we knew that little chocolate dude strong in the mud. We saw him deadlift, 500 pounds? When he did, so it's differences. It's some things that you can accept with some fighters. Some fighters you have to look at. Shakur showed us he was no cock strong, country strong ass dude like that. He ain't showed us that. I ain't seen it. When I saw Crawford do that, I was like, God, I was impressed. Same way my brother Eric also said he was impressed when he saw Floyd clinch with Shane. That impressed me. So yeah, just handle your career and do your thing. Like he said, he planned on going back down. He said, I know I ain't going against my better judgment no more this season in Champ Ross. I told Trey X that if it didn't sit well with me picking the 5-2 to beat the Heartbreak, well, did you pick Nick Ball to beat the Heartbreak? The Heartbreak went out there and did his thing, man. He went out there and he dropped that boy in such a way where his corner got mad. They looked like they wanted to squabble. How you get mad and want to fight the other team because your dude got dropped? You should be mad at yourself because you didn't prepare him better. You knew this man was going to come and just keep coming and throwing punches because that's what he does. Should have prepared better. Should have told him to keep the phone up. Protect that chin. That was a beautiful hook that caught his ass and dropped him. Bottom line is Earl is coming for his rematch fade. So Terrence is forced to come out of retirement. I'm going to be honest with you, Hyphy. Terrence ain't got to prove nothing to nobody. I can honestly say the fight was so lopsided. Do we have to come back? He done went up and beat Canelo, the guy that at one point they were saying Earl was going to fight. He done already, Bud done already went up there and did that. People tried to say, oh, he should fight Benavidez. Forget all that. We talking to you, we thrown. It's easy to say, oh, Manny Pacquiao came from a small weight class and moved up, but you only asked him to move up so far. Bud came from a smaller weight class and moved up, but you wanted him to keep on moving up. The man handled his business. He said he's comfortable with being retired. It's not an amount of money to make him come back because if he come back, he's just fighting for money. And he said he fought for legacy. You can't really argue with it. Some people argue with the fact of some of his wins and they try to say this win wasn't good or that win wasn't good or this didn't age well. But if you're so much better than certain people, then that's just what it is. And it's now, if you looking to keep trying to say he should come back and fight this dude, he should come back to fight this dude, then in my opinion, looking for a loss for him to get. You're not really calling him back because you feel like this dude just cold and this and that. You really, is my opinion, people are just calling it out, saying they just calling it out so they can say he got a loss. Because look how happy and excited people was when they were like, oh, he gonna fight Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao gonna beat him. And then he went out there and made Pacquiao look normal. Then the first thing they want to say, oh, he waited till Pacquiao was old, forgetting that Floyd was older than Pacquiao. So let the man be retired. Let him be able to enjoy his children. Like he said, he helping, he going to his kids' wrestling matches and stuff like that. And they got the money. He did what he needed to do. He still got his faculties, and he can go out there and enjoy the life that he put together for his children to be able to have comfortable lives and live. He could be at their games. rooting them on and cheering them on. He don't have to go to the gym and work out as hard anymore. And he still say he goes to the gym to help the younger fighters. Because remember, we did say Bud looks like that kind of guy. So if he's going to make a transition and still deal with boxing, let him become a trainer. Let us see how good of a trainer he could be. He could end up turning out to be a great trainer. Let's let him get a chance at that. But let's stop the calling him out to come fight people that we think calling him out so people could say, I knew he'd take a loss to this guy. Forget all that. Forget all that, because let's not forget at one point people was calling David Benavidez a weight bully. So now you want to say he should go up and fight the guy that used to be a weight bully. Make it make sense. So I agree with you, Moody Trayweather, Bud not coming back. He said that fight was so lopsided we see Bigfoot before we see my boy Earl sign a contract. Or the Yeti. You know what I'm saying? That's one fight that I could say that, you know, a guy really kind of got the rematch beat out of him. Because, you know, at the end of the fight, he was like, yeah, you know, he said, would you like to see this, have this fight again, Earl? Most definitely. Well, that's what anybody gonna say, because, you know, you don't want to lose face in front of the people after you just got beat up. Yeah, I want to get the fight back again. But did he really push for it? My silence is golden right there. Did he really push for it? No. He didn't push for that fight or any other fight. Hence, that was 2023. This is 2026, and we just now hearing about a possible fight against Tim Tszyu that still doesn't have a date. They're just saying, oh, it could take place this summer with an unspecified date, which means it ain't really concrete. He say, damn, all great points, MZ. You right there. Terrence ain't no bitch like Floyd. You can't say that about Floyd. How can you? That man went out there and fought the people that was put in front of him. People want to give Floyd a hard time, but Pretty Boy was whooping people's ass. Everybody know that Floyd had hand problems because they made fun of him. Oh, brittle hand Floyd, this and that, this and that. But he still continued to pull out wins. So then they was like, oh, he boring to watch because he move around and he picking, sticking, and pick guys apart that way. Well, if those guys was as good as they were supposed to be, they should have beat him. Now I understand that people say, oh, well, he didn't fight Keith Thurman, he didn't fight this person, he didn't fight that person. True, he didn't. But there are a lot of fighters that did the same thing, and you don't take away from their greatness. You don't take away, you don't try to tear down their part of what they did in this great sport that we love. So at that, you know, the people that he needed to fight, Oscar De La Hoya, Shane Mosley, and let's not forget, those guys weren't in a hurry to fight Floyd. He had to chase them. So while he was chasing him, he put hands on other people. David Corrales wasn't no punk. He put hands on David Corrales. So I won't whitewash the things that he did do. I know some people will say, well, once he got older, he did this. Well, you know, he was older, he did what he did. But the ones that did have the chance to stop him, they didn't. You either love a fighter or you hate a fighter. It is what it is. You know, that's how they all gonna go. Our heroes ain't everybody heroes, and vice versa. But it seems like to me, our heroes don't become heroes until after they die or after they take a loss. Then all of a sudden they become great. I remember Floyd looking at his body, his baby son, and saying, running back game. And his son looked at him like, shit. All I can say is, when it come down to it, the fight game is fickle. We as fans, sometimes we pick and choose who we want to ride with and who we don't. At some point, I think we've all been guilty at being a little biased one way or another. But for the most part, when you ride with a true champion, somebody that showed they got the grit, the guts, the determination, there's no need to try to whitewash what they did. Hence, I give Terrence Bud Crawford all his flowers. I say the dude's a great fighter, hell of a fighter, great champion. He did the things that people say he couldn't do. It was a lot of people that said he didn't stand a chance against Canelo. He didn't stand a chance. Now, let's talk about Canelo and the greatness of that which he is or not. You know, he went up against Floyd when he was a young, hungry lion, a champion that had been knocking out other champions and beating them down. And people glorified him and said there was no way that Floyd could whoop him. Then when Floyd whooped him, oh, he was green. He wasn't ready. He was this and that. So then Terrence Bud Crawford rolls around and goes and meet him. And let's put this in effect. Because people are going to say, well, Floyd put him on a weight clause. Well, he asked for that weight clause. Floyd just jumped at you since you opened your mouth and you so great and you could beat me at this, then I'm going to let you do it. Prove to the world, since you said it to the world, that you can do it. So I don't hold that against Floyd. Now, people say that, well, Terrence didn't have to put a weight clause on him, because I feel they both, Floyd and Crawford, both knew they could beat him. It didn't matter how you wanted to slice the cake up. When it came out on the plate, I'm going to devour it no matter what. Bud, who too little, he can't hold it down, he can't do this, he went up there and he handled his business. Some people say, oh, well, the way Bud beat Canelo, it makes him greater than Floyd. Did not Floyd whitewash Canelo? Didn't he? Didn't Floyd at some point in the fight step to Canelo? Didn't Floyd have Canelo flinching and jumping when he was famed Canelo? Yes, he did. Terrence Bud Crawford, sometime later, older fighter, beat up Canelo, stood in the pocket, made him miss, gave him back some combinations, jacked his face around, made him look bad. Two elite fighters that the history books gonna have to say, Terrence Crawford, Floyd Mayweather. Now the conversation is turning into which one would have won in their prime. Same old thing. Two of our great fighters, now they're gonna pit them against each other and argue about which one would beat which one when they never fought. We'll never see them fight. But you're going to say, oh, Terrence would have did this to Floyd. Some people will say Floyd would have did this to Terrence. It really don't matter. What does matter is the so-called face of boxing, a guy who became a great after taking a loss to Floyd, this same face that everybody respected, other fighters want to ride his coattail, went up against Terrence Crawford and took an ass whooping again. But nobody threw him away. But our fighters get thrown away after they take a loss. Canelo's been beat 3 times. Floyd, Bivol, Crawford. He say, so with Terrence Crawford retired, what's up with 168 MZ? Who's next? Who knows? All the belts are up for grabs now. It's up to them to come out and pave way of what they're going to do. You know, Canelo's still there, but you see, it's almost like that fight now is finally paid dividends. Now I'm actually hearing people say, you know, Canelo should go and get out the way. Canelo should go and get out the way and let whoever's reigning at 168 become the men to do what they need to do. Let's start letting these new faces show up that the WBC and the IBF and the IBA and the WBO gonna ask for some of their money when they get ready to fight for their titles. But they ain't giving them nothing in return. You the champ until you decide that you might want to move to a different weight class or you don't do what they want you to do and then you're stripped because you didn't get them to be 3%. I don't care what percent it is. All I know is that you're getting percents from everybody and you ain't doing shit for nobody. At least you say you are, but we don't see it. I'm a fan who would like to see, hey, y'all went and fed some folks. Y'all housed some folks. Y'all helped pay for some bills. Things like that. We shouldn't hear about another fighter talking about they paid for a fighter's funeral, or another fighter talking about they paid for a fighter's hospital bills, or another fighter talking about they helped house another fighter. What the hell are the organizations doing? That's all I'm saying. He said now that the Tanzania the boxing retired, That boy Eric, you stop bringing up Tanzil. Maybe go back to my childhood. Fucking Tanzil. Goddamn Tanzil. But I took his ass down. I told you that tackle move that I learned. I saw on that football game. Oh, that's how you knock down the big dude when you think he's gonna run you over. You run to him hard. And when he lower his shoulder, thinking he's gonna run you over and get a touchdown, that's when you stop, drop, and roll. And take his feet clean away from up under his ass, shoot him up in the air and watch him hit the ground. And when you stand up, the rest of the playground is like, whoa. That's how you become a playground legend, baby. Better recognize. Quit playing with me. That's how it goes down. It means he bringing up chances. That boy Canelo is now publicly saying Crawford can't get full credit unless he rematches him. Are you serious? Are you serious? So he can't get full recognition because he don't want to give you a rematch? You didn't want to rematch Triple G. You haven't tried to get the fade back with Bivol. What? Really? See, that's what makes it age even that much better, because now you're sitting on the sideline crying because this man walked away into the sunset after demolishing you. What you gonna do different facing Terrence Crawford? Take some computer raw? Because we seen you were slower than him. We seen that you weren't stronger than him. We seen that he was able to withstand your punches and stuff when you was coming at him. He was able to withstand your power. What you gonna do different? That's my question. The same way they said, what can Wilder do different against Fury? What can Earl do different against he said motherfucker didn't rematch Laura or Trout either. That's from D-Lo 404. I'm just keeping it real. What is he gonna do different? You gonna hit him harder? You gonna throw more punches? This man made you not want to throw so many punches. This man literally, like they said, they watched you. They dissected you. They did everything they needed to do. They were perfectly prepared to whoop you. You stood at a press conference and you said the words that you always like to say. I don't see nothing different about you. There's nothing different. Nothing different. You the same like everyone. Everyone say something, they the same. You the same. He went out there and showed you he wasn't the same. He went out there and matched you strength, matched you speed, outwitted you, actually showed that he was faster than you. He did everything he needed to do. He had you resetting, Canelo. And even when he didn't make you reset and he decided, you know what, I'm going to stand here with you and let you try to get some off. And I'm going to get some off with you. We're going to see who comes out looking better. And it was him, Bud. You screamed about a rematch with Floyd. Floyd was an old man that whooped you. You waited some years later down the line. Like, oh, I will beat Floyd now. Yeah, you probably would have. He's old and, he's fighting on the last part of his career, but he's handling people that he needs to handle. You were afterthought. Just like with Crawford now, and you've taken that loss, you're an afterthought. Crawford has did what he needed to do. And that's that. Go rematch some of those dudes. Go rematch that dude Bivol who's still fighting. Go show us that you can do something with him. Go do something with him. You're right, D-Lo. Old man Crawford whooped him too. You let two old dudes that you was bigger than whoop your ass. Promoted the fight. That's all Canelo knows. He got spanked. I think that's what you mean. He got spanked. He did get spanked. Lord, 5 months ago. Wow. Canelo thought he was getting jumped. Yeah, he got jumped, all right. Because, see, let's take into consideration two things that Crawford and Floyd Mayweather both have, if you're going to say that they have anything alike, there's two things they had. That reach. That reach. That I can touch you from across the ring sooner than you think you can touch me. Then they got ring generalship. They smart. They got heart. They speed. Enough pop to make you say, let me think about it before I just run up in here. Let me think about that. And they didn't get tired, so you can get a chance to wail off on them. They just beat you, man. Accept it. That's why it's best to start getting some, what's that? Is that a kitty? While you were young. Old man Crawford whooped him too. He figures pulling Crawford out to retire may fare better. That's a possibility. But I hope Bud sticks to his word. No matter how much money they start screaming about they'll pay you. Let it eat at his soul. Let it dig into his mind that you lost to two dudes that were supposed to have been smaller than you, that you were supposed to have been so much greater than, stronger than. In Floyd's case, you was the young, hungry lion. In Crawford's case, you were supposed to have been pound for pound great. You didn't fixed all your flaws. Nobody can deal with you. You knocked out Kovalev on a quick turnaround. You went up there and became undisputed at 68 after you dodged so many fighters, but they gave you passes for. But you chose two dudes that with Floyd, you was like, oh, Floyd's scared of me. I can beat Floyd, yada, 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 this and that. With Crawford, he's too little. What am I going to gain from it? Y'all remember the arguments that he was trying to make? Well, the arguments that you made, people gave Crawford his credit. They didn't dog you like some people thought they would have. They just let it be. Now you whining. Don't whine. Don't whine. Don't whine. That man retired. Let him be retired. Sitting around calling out a fighter that's not doing anything except spending time with his children and his children. Let that be that. Let him be floated off into the sunset. You could keep drinking your tequila, singing songs drunk on camera, not really being a full gladiator, living a full gladiator life, because we've seen you. We've seen you drunk. So the people that we've never seen drunk, that we've seen always in the gym, these are the things that Crawford and Mayweather shared. Gym rats. Constantly. Dude jump up out the strip club, not drinking at the strip club, go running with some Timbs on and some blue jeans. Crawford always in the gym, practicing with other kids, helping them get better. These are the things we see. On Canelo's other hand, his camp, how many people pop dirty? I've said what I had to say as far as that goes. Oh, okay, that was a cat comment in response to Hyphy in the NFL comment I missed. Oh, my bad. So I enjoyed Bud's interview on the pivot. He made the loudmouth dude look like a complete idiot with his own words. Oh, yes, that was beautiful. When he said, I'll come back for $100 million, I'll sell my soul. He said, yeah, well, that goes to show us what kind of person you are. That was beautiful. If William Score wasn't moving so much, he could have beat Canelo. Well, I see where you come from with that. If Caleb Plant hadn't had so much respect for Canelo and didn't run out of gas, he could have beat Canelo. Canelo was smart at who he chose to fight when he chose to fight him. I always complain about that. I'm like, dude, you fight people that we are not asking you to fight. And instead of people saying you right, it was like, oh, he's the greatest thing. He's the greatest thing since sliced Wonder Bread. Till you ran up against some dudes that was like, shit, let me show you what it's about. Let me show you what being in the gym every day is and practicing your skills is about. What Mayweather used to say, point to the easy work, because he made Canelo look easy. Crawford, if he had a moniker to say like that, he could have said it too, because he made it look easy. Both of those guys went out there and made the so-called dude that Max Kellerman and all these other people was riding his coattail saying he was so great, made this dude look easy. He was easy work. And that's how I'm going to remember it. And when my grandson get big and he start asking me questions about sports and boxing, because his mom she loves boxing. When he come up and he be like, Grandpa, my mama said such and so and so, I'm gonna let it be known, well, yeah, this dude was good, but this dude was better. I don't care what the history books say. I seen it with my eyes, so I'm gonna give him what I saw. He said Kovalev was controlling Canelo with throwing nothing but jabs until Canelo whispered, the check has cleared in his ear. And then all of a sudden, because I seen Kovalev put Canelo look like a little off balance. It looked like he kind of stunned him with something. Then he changed the way he was fighting. I agree with you 100%, D-Lo. I agree with you 100%. That fight, I believe I told Big E I felt like the fight was masqueraded. I felt like he threw that fight. The way he got knocked out just didn't look right to me. But he lost. I didn't cry about it. I didn't make one complaint because I really didn't give a damn about Kovalev either. Didn't give and don't give a damn about Canelo like people say I should. I'm sorry, I don't. He was popped. He was dirty. A lot of the people that come out of his camp popped, dirty. Man, how many times and how many people out of your camp up under the guy that's training you gonna pop dirty? And why is nobody making a ruckus about it? Why is it acceptable? One of our people could cross the street wrong and all hell break loose. These people popping up with stuff in their system, and it's okay. I got it from the Mexican meat, so they raised the levels for you. Why come the rest of the Mexicans fighters that eat Mexican meat ain't pop dirty? I'm just asking. And you so rich, why you got to eat tainted meat? You should be able to get the best of the best. You should be able to order some of that beef from where they massage the cows as they babies and nothing but good green grass they feed them and giving them workouts and spa treatments before they take them to the slaughter. Why you ain't get some of that meat? Puh. He better hope Bud stay retired. If he get back in there, Canelo will retire on the stool. All I'm gonna say is I'm not gonna look forward to what would happen. I'm gonna just say what did happen, and like a player, I whooped your ass and then I walked off into the sunset with all your belts. I've accomplished undisputed 3 times, 3 different weight classes. My name is ringing loud. Whether you like me or hate me, you can't deny the fact that the dude that y'all said was the best, I beat him. It wasn't close. It wasn't close at all. Y'all saw the fight just like the rest of the world saw the fight. Regardless of what judge tried to give a messed up card, y'all saw what happened. And the announcers, the people that was calling the fight, as it was recorded, your words are now forever marked as saying it's not even close. Bud Crawford has dismantled Canelo. Simple as that. That's the beauty of him getting whooped. No matter how you don't like Floyd, you can't take away from the fact that when it was talked about in real time, it was as it was happening, how they said it looked like it was being a wash. As it was being broke down with Bud, as they said, it was looking like it was being a wash. You could play those fights with the words that they said 1,000,000 times. Regardless of what you say after the fact, what was said at the time of is what it was. He said, Plant nutted up. Yeah, D-Lo, that's my boy, but it is. Yeah, Channing, what's his name? Channing Crowder. Big Demon. I wasn't surprised he said that. I haven't. I don't. I guess he was. I guess he was saying, $100 million. Yeah, I do it. I really don't. I really don't give it a big deal of it, but I do give Bud his props for standing on his square and say, I don't care about the money. I'm rich already. I got enough money. Only way for me to blow through my money is I start doing stupid stuff and just giving it away and things like that. I did everything I needed to do. I've accomplished everything I needed to accomplish. I beat the guys that at the time that y'all was saying was the best that I couldn't beat. I beat them. And I walked away unscathed. Mean Machine dropped him. Okay, Mean Machine dropped him. He still won that fight. Gamboa was his hardest fight. Yeah, well, where's Gamboa compared to Bud now? How many fights have Gamboa lost? Only thing you can do now, and here's my thing: this generation before, after us, they got two fighters of the same ethnic background that can claim to be great. That's going to be their argument. Which one of them would have beat the other? The same way that they try to say Floyd would have lost to this dude, Floyd would have lost to that dude, Floyd would have lost to this dude, Floyd would have lost to that dude. When those guys was great at their time, Floyd was great at his time. Terrence Bud Crawford, now that he's retired, great at his time. People like Shakur and Keyshawn Davis, Devin Haney, these are the guys that are now trying to accomplish their great at their time. So I'm not going to go into tearing down the dudes that did what they did. Go stick with the facts of what happened. That's it. I'm not going to try to tear him down after the fact. I'm glad Bud decided to walk away. If he had wanted to stay, I would have rolled with him. He decided to walk away. I'm riding with him. If he had chose to say, you know what, I'm going to go down to 54 and fight Boots, then I would have rolled with him. And y'all know I would have rolled with Bud because I felt like, in my opinion, Boots, I said Boots will shine under the bright lights, and I do believe that, but I believe he's going to shine under the bright lights against the competition that he has to face now. I think mentally against Bud, he would have broke down, but there's no need for me to go through all of that because that's a fight that is not going to happen unless something happens to make it happen. But I'm satisfied that Bud did exactly what he needed to do in the time period that he was given to do it. He said it, he done. And I respect that. He talk good still. Look like he got his faculties. His body ain't all broke up. And he doing something that I feel is super great. He get to hang out and do stuff with his children. He got the money to do that. They get the tutelage from a great father. He gets to be at their games, get to cheer them on and do all that good stuff. So salute. He said, peace to Papa Doc Big E. I'm not going to ride y'all too long because I got a dentist appointment tomorrow, and it's 11. I've been on complaining, talking noise, and riding it out. I appreciated the Super Bowl from what little bit I saw. Congratulations to the Seahawks. My stupid ass forgot to put a bet down on them, even though y'all told me that the Seahawks was going to lose. For everybody who told me that the Seahawks was going to win, salute to y'all because y'all called it like a mug. When I had polled you guys a few weeks ago, overwhelming number of you guys was like the Seahawks was going to be in the Super Bowl. A lot of y'all was like the Seahawks was going to win. Different teams were said about the other side. The Patriots did pop up, I think, a little more than everybody else. So y'all pretty much called it. I just forgot to put a bet down. That's my bad. Still kicking myself in the head for that. But other than that, I appreciate everybody coming through and hanging out with me. Sorry I couldn't get more deeper in things on that. Looking for the Terry Harper and Caroline Dubois fight. Can't wait to see that. Can't wait to see Keith Thurman and the Tyrant Inferno and how he's going to deal with that fight. Not going to be, y'all probably not going to hear me say anything else about Tim Tszyu and Earl Spence until they actually get us a date and the networks start promoting it. Until then, I'm probably done with even talking about that. Appreciate you, Moody Treyweather. He said, peace, MZ has been real, dog. Appreciate you, Eric R. Always fire shows. Peace to the chat. And let me start saying it at the end, like I do in the beginning. This show came to you by way of H.W. Wicks Handcrafted Candles. Their motto is to relax and enjoy. By the Block Fam, which started on Marlowe's Corner. We just keeping it going. By the Track Titans, who provides us with our music. And also by Plaque Associations, my brother DeCane, who be hooking us up with some of those jams that he did, which I want to hit y'all with his damn it, what's the name of the song? And where is it? I can't find it. Y'all give me a second. Oh, and Champ Ross, Fantasy Boxing League, which been around. He got the longevity over 2, 3, 4 years. You want to mess with some guys? Go over there and get your wig split because they got ladies and men that could pick the hell out of some fights. He got cash prizes, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place. You can find him on Facebook and you can find him right here on YouTube as well. So if you think you can pick a fight, go ahead over there to Champ Ross Fantasy Boxing League and get your dome snatched. For real. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I really lost the video. Am I tripping? Well, since I lost that video, I'll go ahead. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. Like I said, I got a dental appointment in the morning. I appreciate everybody coming through. I got one of the livest chats in the building, always. Y'all take it easy. Peace and blessings to each and every one. Catch up with y'all next week. MZ, we out. Should I hit him with that? Oh, let's go ahead and hit him with let me find something to take us out with. Roll it up. Here we go. With this one, peace, my brothers. Much love.
Heavy air, midnight glare, shadows crawling on the wall. I'll light up, drift away, let the silent star call. Smoke ray spinning, memories spinning. I lose myself tonight. All regrets and the regrets, they fade into the light. Every breath a little less. World outside grows small, floating high, just passing by, above it all. Let the smoke flash take me to another place where the pain died and the world just melts away. In this hate, I'm untouchable, invisible, afraid that the smoke cry, that the night carry me. Dreams unravel, time unravels. I'm lost, but I don't care. Broken strings and faded things, they vanish in the air. Every heartbeat, every beat, I'm further from the ground. In this moment, I own it, I won't come down. Let the smoke rise, take me to another place where the pain dies and the world just melts away. In this haze, I'm untouchable, invisible, free. Let the smoke rise, let the night carry me. And the morning comes, I'll find my way. But tonight, let the smoke take me away.
This is the last one and we out. Peace.
Mama is gone, daddy is gone, forever removed, no talk on the phone. Brother and sisters have moved far away, so now you be feeling that you're all alone. Those that will ride with you will smile in your face while despising you. They'll make up a story, know it's a lie, then come and ask you if it is true. This is what they will do. Wait around for the problems to compound and you misstep. You might even drop a tear, and that's alright, cause Jesus wept.
Listen to what we say to you. This may be lethal to you, but it's true. Listen to what we say to you. This may be lethal to you, but it's true. Oh, so.
It's hard to put your trust in anybody. Anybody will fuck over that. And you put your trust in the ones that you love, and man, they fuck over that. They walk with no empathy, and their actions will show you no sympathy. You look in their eyes, you trying to find love, but only find you an enemy. This is what's killing me, negative energy, pushing us deep in infinity. Patiently waiting for things to change, but I guess that will never be. Hey, we'll never
Listen to what we say to you. This may be lethal to you, but it's true. Listen to what we say to you. This may be lethal to you, but it's true. Oh, so.
The hate that I see on the daily is crazy. People act hard, but they really fugazi. Looking at me and comparing themselves. But I don't compare to nobody else. I'm a one of one, you a none of none. Numismatic value over the sun. Count the stacks, then we throw out the one. Disrespect, then we bring out the gun. I'm telling you, man, we ain't the same. You is a lame, I can't complain. Even if I did, nothing to change. You's a hoe, and that fact remains. Top of the mind, top of the morning, top of my grind. Y'all niggas yawning. Listen, we on it. We ain't gonna stop it. Y'all can keep throwing that shade like an awning.